Ladies and gentlemen,
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, brother? How are you?
Chilling, man. I, I was struggling this morning, man. I was trying to do cardio. I was trying to yesterday was my rest day, right? And
Yeah.
I was just beat up. And I was like, you know what? I just slept all day. Woke up today a little groggy, but sometimes once you get moving, you kind of feel okay.
Uh, yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah.
That's what
How
I've
you
been doing.
how you been, brother? You seem like you've been busy, man. You've been working.
Yeah, very busy. Yeah, and I had surgery on Friday. So I've been, 3 weeks in a row of traveling, and then I came home from Cal and had my appointment with my doctor after I got an MRI on my bicep, and then he was able to get me into surgery on Friday. So I just had surgery on Friday to like fix up my bicep tendon that I had torn.
Oh, holy shit! Are you in a sling right now? Oh, holy!
Yeah. I had
When did
this, I
that?
had this, I had the sling on for a while, but like I take it off periodically, and it only holds my arm up like on like here anyway, and I'm just like it's resting on my lap, so my arm's just resting now.
Damn.
Yeah.
When did that injury happen, and what exactly happened?
I was in New York.
Wait,
I was in New York for New York Pro, and that was when I tore it. It wasn't even inside the gym. It was I slipped and fell.
wait, you talking about like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, in New
Oh
York Pro. Yeah,
shit!
it happened like very recently. So I got into
Holy
surgery like right away.
damn! It's crazy that I feel like a lot of bodybuilders get injured outside of the gym.
Almost everybody.
Yeah, well, I guess it's because the movement patterns in the gym is something we're already accustomed to, so it would be harder
Yes.
for us to get.
Yeah.
But everyday life movement is actually what we're not as accustomed to, which is
Right.
great thing about.
It hurts. Most of these people that we know of that have like, so Ivan Centopani, like I don't know if it was a double quad tear, if it was just one, but definitely a quad tear, Branch Warren tore quad. I mean, shit, even Flex Lewis, which he's not even a bodybuilder anymore, just tore his
Yeah,
tricep. And
and
like
Palumbo.
yep, and like it's all out of the gym,
Yeah,
and it's like Alina Popa, she tore her bicep getting out of the shower. Like it's like these like super fast and abrupt movements that our bodies are no longer accustomed to, and we have so much muscle that really
yeah,
fast and abrupt like tensile strength that goes right into the tendon. It just
100%.
just pops it right off.
That's
So
exactly. It's crazy because I train pretty heavy, and I mean in the past, man, I've done some crazy shit, and I've never gotten injured in any capacity. I think more. Okay, first of all, even though my form, at one point my form wasn't even good. It
good,
was,
yeah.
but I think first
Just
of all,
throwing it.
my body's accustomed to those movements, and second of all, I always made sure I'm fully recovered. Right, so
Yeah,
if you're fully recovered, you're getting tissue work done, you don't have any, imbalances,
yeah.
you don't really get injured because you're so used to those movements. But outside of the gym is a whole different issue.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I know it's so like it's very ass backwards. You would think like the logic like, kind of falls apart, but like I think what more commonly happens is you get hurt in the gym, but you get injured outside of the gym. And the
Yeah,
difference
yeah,
between
yeah.
being hurt and being injured is like if I'm hurt, I can still play. If I'm injured, I can't.
Yep, yep.
It's that simple. And I got told that by a football coach, many years ago saying, are you hurt or are you injured? And I'm like, what's the difference? And they said, if you're hurt, you can play. And if you're injured, you can't. So
Yeah.
you get hurt in the gym, you like nick up, it's like, I hurt my shoulder today, whatever, but you can train
Oh
around
yeah.
it. You don't need
Mhm.
you don't need surgery
No,
or
no, no.
whatever, maybe a week or two off will be PT, rub it around, like it'll be fine. But it's not an injury that requires downtime, surgery, physical therapy, all that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Anytime you're slicing into yourself and having to put things back together, that's when
That's when it gets rough. Yeah,
Yeah, that happened. That's like the normal life shit.
yeah. I actually, funny you said that. I actually did hurt my knee about 4 weeks ago now. I was doing leg presses. I don't usually go super heavy, but I felt good that day. Went
Mhm.
pretty heavy, and I didn't feel like an injury occur or anything like that. Just the next day, I couldn't fully bend my knee, and
Yep.
that happened. It stayed there for about 3 weeks. The pain, it wasn't really painful though. It was just a lot of inflammation. I can feel the like fluid around my knee.
Yep.
So like you said, I just literally just I knew what I could and couldn't do. I can do extensions, no problem, just like normal. I could even leg press pretty normal, like close to the same weight and reps I usually do. But I couldn't do any squat movements. I couldn't do
Right. The
any
pressure into
hacks.
your knee.
Exactly. And honestly, my quads didn't lose any size, and then, I slowed down the movements and did a lot of pausing and squeezing. Honestly, I felt like in some ways my quads got better, which is just kind of funny to think
Yeah,
about
it
sitting here.
happened, like getting sometimes those little, getting hurt, it checks our ego, right? And a lot
Hmm.
of times that's what we need to do is we have to check the ego just a little bit. And because over time, people will start to gravitate a little bit more towards the ego lift, right? It's like
Yeah, exactly.
you get caught up in progressive overload, which is great. And I'm a big progressive overload guy, but sometimes we get caught up in that, right? So we let our ego get the best of us. And then something like this happens, and then it forces you to take a step back, lower the load, you're increasing tempo, so you're feeling the muscle more. So it's basically like, well, we're tapping into something else, which would be mind muscle connection, as opposed to just maximum load. And then boom, we go right back to seeing progress. And like you said, you think
Yeah.
your quads are probably better than they were before. So,
Hmm.
and ultimately you shouldn't be in any pain. That is one thing that I will say that some of the older school lifters have really figured out that we are kind of like struggling with,
Yeah,
because like
yeah.
everyone wants to be really strong right now. Like being strong is very in. And there was a period of time when I felt like those guys didn't really care as much about being strong as just like mentally being able to connect with every rep that they were doing.
100%.
And
hundred
it's like
percent.
a happy medium. You have to like find this blend, and it's ever changing. It's like always different based on like where you're at in your career and how much muscle you have and how your body feels, what your joints and aches and pains are, things like that. And you always are having to be progressive and like adaptive with your training. It's hard to be one way all the time. You're switching things based on how your body feels, a lot of times, in my opinion, especially as we get to higher levels of bodybuilding. We have guys like yourself. Because what do you weigh in the off season? Like 265, 270?
No, man.
Heavy.
I'm 5'11", bro. So
Okay, so
I
you're
I
closer to 290.
I try to keep it under 300, but I usually get a little bit over, like 305 or so.
Yeah, so a guy your size, I didn't know how tall you were. And so, but a
Hmm.
guy your size, I knew you were super at USA's though.
Yeah.
But yeah, for a guy your size, like, dude, you're gonna have aches and pains.
Sure. Sure.
Your shoulders are gonna hurt, your elbows are gonna hurt, your knees are gonna hurt. Like that, especially when you get to that level of body weight, like it
Oh, yeah.
sucks. And you hit a certain level of body fat, and it actually gets worse. Um,
Yo, it's crazy you say that because okay, early on, let's say when I was like closer to like 250 in off season, I would
yeah,
usually feel better in off season when I had some body fat, right?
right,
Now it's the complete opposite. Now the most pain my knees, shoulders, elbows are in are peak off season. And then
yeah,
when I dieted off like 30 pounds right now, right? Now is
yeah.
when I actually feel better, right? Like 270 is where I feel better. It's funny how that kind of shifts because you get so heavy that it doesn't work to your advantage anymore, right?
Yeah, it's like the joint can only handle so much weight. And
Mhm.
then, so you feel better now because this is about what your joints can comfortably handle. So then when you start to add more body fat, yes, because in the past, when you would add more body fat, you'd just be adding more cushion into the joint,
Mhm.
um, but now it's like, well, it doesn't really matter, because the joints, they're just tired, and they're, again, they can only handle so much. But yeah, so that's it. You're in one of those you're in one of those phases in your bodybuilding career, and it's like a lot of guys are like you that are at that size. You know what I mean? Where shit always hurts until you actually start coming down, and then that's when
Yeah.
things start to feel a little bit better.
I would I would much prefer to like stay around like 280, 290. It's just that I don't have a very good metabolism, and
Mhm.
I'm not somebody who's naturally pretty hard. So if I just eat enough to be able to recover and perform in off season, it automatically starts to bring my weight up. You know,
Right.
I think my training would be better at 280, 290. So
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I try my best, but then when I feel like I'm dieting off season, when I feel like I'm eating so little that I'm not recovering probably, then I'm like, then it's not worth it. Then I'm like, okay, at this point,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It's like I said before with the other situations, finding the right happy medium for you, which sucks, is I know exactly how you feel. Like I feel better at this weight, so I'd like to hang out at this weight more and be able to train at this weight because
Yeah.
your like your cardiovascular endurance at 280, I'm sure is a hell of a lot better than it is at 305. So
Yeah.
you're getting more out of your training when you're a little bit lighter because your lungs aren't gassing out so fast, just from
Exactly.
having to carry all the extra weight. So I know what you're saying. Can it be done? Yeah. Like it's just about really fine tuning, finding what works for you as far as how many calories you need to eat on your training days, maybe doing a small version of a carb cycle where you have a much lower caloric day on your rest days. As
Bro.
again, it doesn't take as much calories to really recover when we're resting. And so we lower that. And then keeping cardio in year round not only will help with metabolic function, but also can help with your appetite. Just be able to help dispose of nutrients a little bit better. I like, especially guys your size, really big guys. It's good for your heart. If it's good for your heart, it's good for your training. You guys are already doing so much to your hearts just by maintaining 280 plus for long
Yeah.
periods of time, that like it's important to me. So like 4 days a week at 20 minutes, and if I just ask them, hey, I want this like relatively high intensity, I'm not asking you to hit intervals, but give me a hard 20 minutes. Like I
Right.
want you sweating. Like get your BPM up so that way we actually get something out of this. That usually helps them not only stay leaner, but also just helps their functionality with their heart as far as like lung capacity and the ability to recover in between sets. So, those are some things that we do. But it works. And some of those guys do hit. I have some guys who hit in the off season as their only form of cardio, maybe 4 sessions a week of just 15 minutes hit. And that's solely for me to get their heart rate just really high because of how they train. So if they're already a really high intensity trainer and I want them, I'm not trying to add a bunch of volume, but I want to be able to just allow them to really tap into that like higher level of intensity that they probably have. I'll make sure that their heart health kind of just is staying intact, like lung capacity wise, cardiovascular endurance. That would be the thing that I would recommend.
So Justin, I've been hearing about you for a while now, as a coach and most of your clients, but I realize I don't know a ton about you yourself, and I don't know how long, or like when did you get in sport, how long you've been in the sport, or your contest history, or anything like that. So
Yeah. You
where
want me to
did it
get
all start for you?
into go from the beginning or?
Yeah, like what got you into the sport? When did you do your first
Okay.
competition, etc.?
Yeah. So I started doing all of this in 2015. That was my first show. I was playing college football. So I've been an athlete my entire life. And then I basically just walked away from the other sports in high school to like focus on football. And then eventually with football, I went ahead and played college football. I did 2 years of college football, and I actually watched a friend compete in his first bodybuilding show that fall. So it was the fall of 2014. So I was going into my sophomore year of college that fall. I played the season. I had a couple head injuries, like I got a couple concussions that season, and I was kind of like, what am I playing like for anymore? Like this, I'm not really enjoying this anymore. So I watched my buddy compete, and I was like, that's like kind of what I want to do. I was like, this is cool. So I jumped the gun, and after I transferred schools, so I did my first 2 years away. And then I did my second 2 years at my school in my parents' hometown. And that was when I started bodybuilding. So I just jumped literally off the football field. And then like a month later, I was prepping for a bodybuilding show.
Where did you grow up, and where do you live
Uh,
now?
Upstate New York is where I'm originally from.
Oh, okay.
And then I graduated from SUNY Binghamton, so Binghamton University, which was like close to where I grew up. I now live in South Florida, and I came to Florida to be obviously a lot closer to Matt.
Yeah.
But we were already training partners when I lived in Georgia. So Matt moved from Georgia to Florida, and then I moved from Georgia to Florida. So Matt moved when the companies like really took off, like Revive and Raw. And then I followed about 8 months later, and I wanted to be around the environment. I wanted to be a part of Revive. I wanted to, continue to grow my name within Camp Jansen. And that's exactly what I did.
Not to shift subjects, but what exactly is your relationship with Matt? How long have you known him, etc.?
Matt and I met in 2017 through a mutual friend. And then we exchanged Instagrams and just like loosely stayed in touch there, a like or a comment here and there, very, very casual. And then when I moved to Georgia, I just happened to see him tag a gym in my area on his feed. So I didn't even know he was living in Georgia. So he tagged the location of this gym. I looked it up and I was like, that's only 20 minutes away. So I started going to that gym because Matt Jansen was there. And then we bumped into each other and he goes, what the hell are you doing here? And I was like, I live here. And then he was like, well, I live here too. And then we eventually just saw each other in the gym a few more times. And then he asked me shortly after that if I wanted a training partner. And I said, yeah, absolutely. So I jumped on his training schedule and we just trained together every day for like a year and a half. Then COVID came, and obviously COVID slowed down everyone's training. We were training in Matt's garage for most of the week, or most days out of the week. And then that was kind of like really where our relationship started. So we were just friends and training partners. It wasn't until after USA's of 2019 when Matt actually started coaching me. So I was working with Chris Tuttle for pretty much my whole career. And then I switched to Matt after USA's just because it was like, Matt's my training partner. He's like arguably the best in the world. He's literally looking at me every single day. He can monitor my performance in the gym. It just makes way more sense for him to take over the reins. So it was, August of 2019 when I asked Matt if he would just, take over from there.
So, okay. There's something I noticed that's pretty common. It's actually kind of like a funny assessment, right? But I can tell you guys are close friends. I've had Matt on a podcast before, and you guys kind of have like a similar talking cadence, the way you guys talk. And
really?
I've kind of picked this up. Like I've noticed you ever hear Chris Aceto and Jay Cutler talking, you're like, they kind of sound, it sound a little
they're
similar.
both from Massachusetts.
Oh, they're from the same place. And I feel like you talk to each other so much that you start to sound similar.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I've even noticed that with my boy Joe Palacios, he won the USA last year. Him and Coach Compton. Sometimes I hear Joe talk, I'm like, he's starting to sound like Compton a little bit. It's strange. Like the cadence, I don't know why or how that happens, but I've noticed it with other coaches and athletes. I'm like, why do these guys sound like the coaches? It's weird.
I've noticed something similar too. Yeah, I've noticed that people that spend a lot of time together tend to start to sound a lot alike.
Yeah.
It's funny.
He actually did a Compton impersonation, and he sounded more like Compton than Compton. I'm like, holy fuck, that's crazy that you can sound like that.
Yeah, because you guys all work with Justin, right?
Yeah, he works at everybody at this point, and he keeps picking up more people around us. Everybody who comes around us, they kind of gravitate to him as well.
Right.
All right. So okay. So let's go back to the story. So football, you stop football. Your friend competed. You was like, this shit is cool. I wanna fuck with it. And then first show 2015, right?
Yeah, first show was 2015.
Back then, they pretty much only had bodybuilding for the most part.
They had bodybuilding and men's physique. Yep, that was it.
Okay.
So I've always done bodybuilding. I've never done any other divisions.
Okay. What division did you do? And How many shows did you do? Do you still compete? Are you still planning to compete, etc.?
Yeah. So I was a middleweight for most of my amateur career. That was how I turned pro. I won middleweights at nationals in 2021, and then Kennedy's getting on. I think it was like my eighth or ninth show is when I turned pro.
So
And
Kennedy,
then I can't hear you.
You guys hear me? Hello?
oh,
There
okay.
we go. Now we can. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, what's up, brother? So,
Doing good.
so that was in
2021.
2021 was when I turned pro. I won middleweights at nationals that year. And then I took off of 2022. I did my pro debut in 2023. I did the Texas Pro. I got fifth. I'm a
Wait.
212.
I didn't actually know this information. I don't know if a lot of people know that you're pro and you compete as a pro, because you don't really toss it around. You don't say, hey, I ever be pro, Jacoby here,
No.
a lot of people, I think a lot of people at this point know you more as a coach,
As
so
a
they might not
coach.
be aware of that. Top five,
Yeah.
okay, top five.
Most of them do,
Mhm.
and that's kind of how I like it. I've said this for a long time that my ceiling as a coach is a lot higher than my ceiling as an athlete. So I've been saying this for several years now too, is that I'm a coach first and an athlete second. So, which is probably why, I'll be honest, it's just probably why I haven't made as much progress as I know I'm capable of, because I am just like you guys. I'll have 5 to 6 months where I'm locked in and my body changes fast. And then I'll have 3 months in a row where I'm just 3 shows every month, sleeping on couches, catching flights, doing the best that I can, not able to get cardio in, missing shots, missing meals, late nights, early mornings, doing the coaching thing, because I travel to a lot of shows, and then I just lost it all. It's gone. And then I'm trying to play catch up. And that unfortunately is what being a high level professional bodybuilding coach looks like. Kennedy, because you work with Vu, so he doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
And he stopped bodybuilding fucking a decade ago now at this point.
Yeah.
Not actually, but we still competed at the same time, he and I, for a few years before he walked away from it. But yeah, it's hard. But, I'd still think my physique's making good progress. Up until the injury, I was huge. I was the best because I've been as heavy as 232, but I was at the best 223, 224 that I had held, because we got up to 230. I did a little bit of a diet, came down to about 213, and then I started to work my way back up. So we were in New York Pro and at the gym, and it was me, all the guys took a picture together. It was all the Camp Jansen guys minus J-Rod. So I had Tonio and Matt was there and Nick was there and Quentin was there, and it was me. So we all took a picture together, and I was like, man, I'm fucking juiced up right now. I was young. And then I was so jacked up. I was talking shit in the group chat. I was like, man, I'll hang with all you guys. And so, but then then New York Pro comes, and then the very next weekend's Cal. And obviously all this time I got the bicep injury. And then it's so now we're on the back burner for a bit. And I had planned on doing New York Pro and Toronto Pro next year for my shows that I was picking out, because I was going to take this year off to grow. But we'll see. It all depends on the arm, but I don't know.
Yeah. I was going to say.
So, Joe.
Sorry, Joe. Yeah. I was going to say, because Justin, I started following you. You turned pro the same nationals Carlos turned pro, right? Mm-hmm. That was the same one? Yeah. I think that's when I started following you. And I was like, holy crap, this guy has an insane, I like to call your type of physique a Superman physique. You have everything going. But my question to you, because I've seen this from top level coaches, you mentioned Andrew. In my past, before I got with Andrew, I worked with Nick Bono, and he started to have this conflicting decision too, where it's do you feel like as a coach that's coaching higher level athletes, national level and top pros, there comes a point where you have to make that decision if you still want to be an active competitor versus going fully into that coaching?
Yeah, absolutely. It's where I'm there. You know what I mean? I'm at that spot. Honestly, if I let's say hypothetical, if I was to pick up 4 Olympians.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm managing that and doing a prep, because like these are people that I'm putting on stage at the Olympia. Like on that, again, if you're an Olympian, I think you should really call yourself an Olympian when you go every year. Not,
Yeah.
I've been there once. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, you did, yeah. But like, if you're picking up like routine Olympians, so like Tonio's been to the Olympia 4 years in a row. He's a routine Olympian. So I got to make sure I show up for him. Like that's my role. And then, I have a couple others. I used to work with Ariel Kadar, 3 Arnold Classic wins. She's placed top 4 at the Olympia 3 times. So again, these are people that I got to show up for. So it's just a matter of like how high level the people get. Being that I'm a pro, and obviously my goal is to try and compete in the pro leagues and maybe someday get to the Olympia. You gotta, you gotta weigh out your eggs. You know what I mean? Like, can't put them all in one basket. It's time to start shifting your focus a little bit. So it's hard to say that though, because I just turned 30. So I'm like not ready to give up on being a bodybuilder yet.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. How old are you? Because earlier you said something that I thought was very mature. And okay, you said you realize that your ceiling as a coach is higher than your ceiling as an athlete, right? Yes. I like that when you said it, you didn't say it with any negative connotation, right? Because first of all, being a coach can be a lot more fruitful than being an athlete, and a lot safer and easier, better on your body, right? So I think that's a great thing, actually. I remember when Compton really got into coaching, and everybody every day like, when are you coming back? What are you doing? And I'm like, yo, this guy is actually making a much better living than he did as a bodybuilder, and he's completely safe, and he seems happy. And I'm like, I get it, the genetics are crazy, whatever, but it's like, that's not a bad thing. First of all, it's an exit from the sport. Everybody doesn't get a good exit. Some people get a really bad exit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's not like you're literally even more successful, right? So this is not, and you're in the sport. I find it really fun to coach personally. Like when my athletes win, I'm even more happy than when I win. So I think it's a great thing that you said it in a positive way, not necessarily like, oh, I guess, you know what I'm saying? So it shows.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's no hard feelings or anything about it. It's like you have the genetics or you don't. You know what I mean? It's like I don't have the genetics to do crazy stuff on a bodybuilding stage. I work my ass off, and that's the fun part about it for me. Is I just enjoy the work. But the coaching is fun, because then you do get the guys with the genetics, and then you get to do like really crazy stuff, and you're accomplishing shit that like you can't do with regular people. That's the stuff that's fun. Like, coaching, Justin O'Donnell and Justin Rodriguez and Andre Muzzy and Tonio and Mike Condell. I'm not sure if you guys know him. He's a 212er. I mean, these guys are freaks, like way more genetically elite than me. So it's like more fun working with them than it is just working with myself. So that's kind of the way I look at it. It's like, what is going to be the most enjoyable? What's the most fruitful? Because we all know you guys all compete. We don't make any money doing this. So
spend money.
Yeah, but, exactly.
I'm sure you guys also probably get this question a lot. Like, hey, what's your goal for bodybuilding competitively? How far do you want to go? And then I'm always like, it's not really up to you. It's not about how far you want to go. I mean, obviously you put in the work, right, to get as far to get as far as possible, but it's really going to rely on your genetics. And if the judges like your physique, I mean, I can't control like what my ceiling is. I can control how much work I put in and the improvements I make. But where my ceiling is really literally in my genetics and whether the judges appreciate my look or not, right? So we don't have control over that. That's something that's just set in stone. It is what it is, So Zay,
going on, guys?
I know my goal for bodybuilding is to have my office look like Zayd's.
There you go.
I do not have a single trophy, ribbon, nothing.
Yo, me too, man. I don't.
I've got nothing.
I kind of wish I would have kept it. I started doing it after the USA's, but then I'm like, this is a little bit late. I haven't done as many shows as Zayd, but I think this is gonna be my 8th show. I'm like, I got gold medals and shit. How come I didn't keep it? I didn't keep anything, really.
How could you not, dude? That's so
I
crazy when I hear about that.
I didn't think about
I
it,
mean-
bro. I didn't think about it. I mean,
Dave,
I
where are
would
you
also,
from? Ukraine?
Me? No, I'm
Yeah.
Syrian.
yeah,
bro.
Ukraine,
Awesome.
yeah.
It must be a Syrian thing.
No,
Yeah.
Just keep it.
well,
When you
Justin might be
bleed the
right.
sport, there's nothing else you want to save except you know.
No, Justin's right though. I
I was
think
just
because
kidding.
what I think part of being from Syria, he's a lot more grateful than a lot of us are being American, right?
Oh,
So
you can
you know,
say that again.
that's something I always noticed about Zay. Like, there were so many nationals that he could have gotten his pro card, and I thought he potentially won, but he didn't. He was so grateful about it and great. Like he wasn't like he wasn't angry. He was just like, I'm really happy to be here. And that's something I always wanted to take from Zay, because when I started, I was pretty cocky, man, because I knew I had the genetics and I felt like I deserved shit. But we don't deserve shit, bro.
Don't deserve shit, man.
Nobody deserves anything.
And
Everything
it's fun to
you
win.
gotta.
It's fun to win. It's fun to win when it's like hands down. You know, like it's like you slam the door shut. Wasn't even close. You know, and that's kind of how and that's how Zayd won his pro card at USA's.
It did happen. It's funny.
It was a landslide. It was like, okay, he won.
After
That was
16
pretty clear.
tries.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know it took you a while, but the fashion you wanted it was indisputable. So that's
Convincing.
Slam the door shut like this guy is in a completely different class. How did he get here?
He was.
How did he get to
Yeah,
light
right.
heavyweight?
No, literally looking, it was like these guys like suffered to make the weight, and he's doubled his size. It's like this is not even close. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
With all due respect to everybody who did the show, like damn,
I tried to do that with Justin O'Donnell too, because I got him into heavies and he looked like twice as big as everybody else.
he did actually though. He did.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a strong argument for winning that show. You know.
Yeah. He
I thought
peaked
so.
like 6 hours late.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
Justin's a
literally
freak.
like 5-6 hours later in the day, and he was bananas. He couldn't poop. He didn't poop for 36 hours before the stage.
When it
What's
came down,
that shit.
and it came down to USA's, it was Justin and Josh that I kept looking at because I'm like, one of those guys is going to be the one I'm going to go against in the overall.
Yeah.
That's all I could see. Like leading up to the show, because I was really confident I was going to win when we decided I was going to be a super heavy. But it was those two in particular. I was like, those guys are going to give me a run for my money.
Yeah, in the nationals level, heavyweight's always where the competition is. Supers, there's always that one guy that shows up that cleans everyone, but heavyweights is where there's always the battle's always at, you know.
Absolutely.
100%.
Is Justin doing USA's again this year?
Nationals.
Nationals?
Yeah.
Okay.
That should be. It's funny if. Oh, there we go. Yeah, because I don't know. I think we talked about it. We're like, how the fuck is he gonna make the heavyweight?
No way he's a
No.
heavyweight.
He's a super. He's a super.
Okay, good. Yeah.
No, he hasn't. He's been over 280 for like 6 months. So like, there's no way he's.
There's no way.
There's no way we're coming down to heavies.
I mean,
Something
with all
horribly bad went wrong if we're a heavyweight.
I mean, with all due respect to the supers, like being that I'm a super as well, the heavyweight class. I mean, he's probably gonna turn pro even easier in the supers, and he wouldn't heavy, right? I mean, the supers, like you're gonna have like one or two really good guys sometimes, but for the most part, the heavyweight is stacked.
It's more competitive. Yeah, heavyweights is more competitive. Like 1 through 10 is really good in like heavyweights, and I'd say 1 through 6 is really good in the supers. It's just not as deep. You lack depth, and it's just due to the bodies. You know, there's not enough heavy guys. You know, I mean, it's hard to it's hard to be over 225 pounds and be shredded. That shit's not easy.
Yeah. Pretty much every show, right? You look at the super, if you're like, that guy is winning, and you know for a fact, right? I look at the light heavies and the heavies, and I can't say that. I'm honestly like, I don't know about O'Donnell. Fucking look at Manly. I don't know, man. It's gonna be close. Or light heavy, same thing. Yeah. Well, besides last year's, besides the Zayd one. But
like at North Americans, you had James Kelly, or no, not James Kelly. The guy from Arizona. What was his name?
What, this North Americans?
This North Americans in light heavyweights.
Justin Kelly.
Thank you. I knew it was Kelly.
Yeah. He finished second to me
from Arizona, and he got second to Joe Carlisle.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
That was close.
What year?
This year, North Americans. Yeah, Joe's
like those two guys were close.
Wait, we didn't have North Americans yet this year.
No,
Last
No,
year.
this last
Yeah.
one.
Oh, okay.
Last
Wait.
one that we had.
What's his name? I'm sorry. I want to pull
Joe
up more.
Joe
Krill.
Carlisle won the light heavyweights, and Justin Kelly was second.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Justin came second twice. He came second in
USA's,
yeah. USA's as well.
Zayd beat
Yeah.
him there.
So,
Justin
but
Kelly.
Joe in person is very thick.
Yeah,
I was very
he is.
surprised.
He's big.
He's shorter. When I saw him in North Americans, we
Yeah,
were
he's
all
really short.
talking, and I was like, dude, like when we were backstage, I was like, this overall is going to be between light heavy and super at this point, because he was that stacked. He was that stacked.
The
This
light
guy
heavy
in
killing it.
person looks really good in person. This dude, he looks a lot wider. He's so
Yeah, he's
wide.
bigger in person.
Yeah, he looks good here too. Yeah, the light heavy the killing it, man.
Shout out Justin.
Fucking
He's like a physical therapist too.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yep.
Who got first? What was the guy you think got first?
Joe Carlisle.
Joe. Yeah.
Hold up. Let me stop the show. I don't want you guys to see who I've been looking up.
That was well deserved though. Joe won that show.
Oh no, Joe was it's Joe and CAR LILE.
Is it Joe with an E?
Yeah.
And then Car. Okay, I think I got it.
Yeah.
He actually looks like you,
2.0.
Jacoby. If I squint my eyes, you guys look related.
Me?
Well,
Yeah.
In a way, he looks a little bit, yeah, a little
is
bit.
it,
He's like an
me and this
abstract
guy?
version.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
guy-
Zayd is also high half the time. So if he squints his eyes, there's no telling what he's going to see.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm
Come on, look at him. He looks
I am
like
too.
him.
I am too. I mean, he was dice. That's a shitty cell phone picture. That was. Yeah.
I am three actually. I'm actually a little bit high today for the first time in a long time. I kind of woke up miserable. I wanted to take the edge off. I got to be honest with you. But
Go to that back double. Go to that back double.
There we
Yeah,
go.
dude, that's peeled.
Who's his coach?
It was like Mitch something. It's like a friend of his.
Oh, dope.
He worked with Nasir Hyacinth the year I went pro, and that was a wash.
I don't mean to say this like in a rude way, but he had like a big head, right? Or is it just me?
Yeah, for his body.
Hello?
For his body, yeah. His head is a lot bigger than his
I
body.
don't.
Okay.
So in
Yeah.
per-
People
in
say that about
person,
me. People say
in
that about
person,
me.
he's a lot. Yeah, in person, he's a lot bigger. It's just like the Stu effect. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Big head,
Yeah.
your body. You don't look as big until you see the person. Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if this means anything because I'm high as well, but I do see Justin a little bit too now. Like in this
Oh my
picture.
god!
I see
Doesn't
it
he look
later.
like him?
It's the blonde. It's the blonde hair. It's the blonde hair.
The hair too, yeah. Yeah. The head.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I don't say the head shape, not the size. Jacoby head isn't that big, but the head shape.
Well, speaking of Stu, once I got to meet him in person, I was like, "Damn, Stu's a tank, big guy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got enormous head and enormous hands.
Yeah, no, his hands are fucking thick.
Huge.
Shit.
It's like a
mechanic hands.
yeah, it's like a catcher's mitt.
I don't know if I'm getting shorter or Stu is getting taller, but I swear I was barely taller than him. I was like barely.
That's
inch taller
another
than him.
thing. I thought he was gonna be shorter.
Yeah, right.
I actually think he's like a little bit taller than me. I could be tripping, but I think he is.
Kind of strange because you wouldn't think that he doesn't appear like he's a tall person. I'm like, that's pretty tall. He says 5'9", but he's like a legit like 5'9" and a half. Not like not bodybuilder 5'9", which means like
so then he is taller than
5'7".
me. 'Cause I'm like
Yeah, no.
I'm 5'8.5".
Yeah, okay. Joe is also actually 5'8.5" because you know bodybuilders start giving the heights and it's like 2 inches off.
Subtract 2 inches.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I
I should
convinced
stop
myself.
lying about my weight, bro. I should definitely stop doing that.
Oh, easily.
You said
Yeah,
you were
because-
you made a post recently that you were up 40 pounds in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 months, not 3 weeks.
Damn, 3
months.
weeks.
Three
That's
months.
why
I'm like,
I knew something was off. I misread that then because I was like,
It's funny.
Yeah,
for me,
because,
the
dude,
bigger- Oh,
I
go
was
ahead.
6 months off with no PEDs.
Yeah.
After the show, I stopped, so I lost a lot of fucking tissue. And then when I started blasting, I gained a bunch of size.
Yeah.
For me, once I got really into bodybuilding and actually started to grow, right, and get muscular, I started telling people I was shorter because I'm like, damn, like if this motherfucker is that short, he's that heavy, this guy's huge.
Yeah.
It gives you off the illusion. I've done the same thing, man. I used to say I was 5'8" when I played football. Now I'm like 5'5". How tall are you? 5'5".
Smart. No, Zayd could claim 270, no problem. No problem. He can say I'm 270.
I wish,
I mean,
dude.
he looks.
I haven't seen 250 on the scale yet, to be honest.
Really?
I haven't seen.
It's a good fucking feeling, I'll tell you. The first
246 is the heaviest I've ever been. And I lost weight after I went to the fair, so I saw him kind of recover from that. You know?
Man, he looks way bigger than that. I got to be honest with you. He looks way bigger than 240s by far.
I'm eating chocolates and cereal and all kinds of candy before I sleep, and I'm still fucking not budging, bro. I'm trying to put potential like shit calories, and it's still not working. So I need to
peanut butter, bro.
I don't feel like that approach ever actually works. I've done it with so many times with other people and even myself. I feel like it just stops working. Like it doesn't. Your body doesn't want to absorb the nutrients. You mess up your digestion. Then you're chasing your tail. It's like, I don't know. I've never seen success that way.
The smart approach is to pull back for a few weeks, but the other approach is to add 2 packets of Pop-Tarts right before you go to sleep.
Option 2 it is.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, bro. I've done it. 800 calories right there. Boom, right before bed.
It's so weird with different people, right? Because even me, like Beatty, I'm the same boat as you. You know, I don't push food as much. Dude, I'm 275 right now.
Oh, wow. Shit.
Dude, like, and the food so far.
That was quick.
I was gonna say you look bigger than Evan next to you.
You must have went from fucking test to D-ball only.
Is your food high, Kennedy?
For me, it's high. So I'm eating like 300 grams of rice, 10 ounces of meat, and then post workout I'm doing like 120 grams of oats. But for me, it's high, I don't know about other guys, but dude, the weight's been packing on. Like, Joe, I'm starting to get to that point now where I'm like, going up the stairs, I'm like, fuck, it's starting to hurt. It's starting to hurt now, once I
I feel like a fucking athlete right now. Like my workouts are all fast. Like my heart rate's fine. I feel athletic as fuck.
Yeah, because I didn't even realize like I had gone that big till Andrew did like a side by side of like when we started after nationals till now. And it was like, holy shit, like we've really put on, some tissue since then. So I'm really excited, man, for next year. I got to be honest. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Me and Paul were talking about you and Justin Wyatt. I'm excited to see what you guys bring.
Wyatt is wild, bro.
Because Wyatt's fucking huge and solid as shit. And,
shredded glutes.
He like for me.
Did he get his leg fixed yet?
His legs fucked up.
That's why he didn't win national. That's why he didn't take the overall at nationals.
What happened to his leg?
How downsized that one leg was.
I didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
He
was hiding. He was hiding it on the stage. He kept on shifting that foot backwards.
He did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, he was so much better than everybody. It wouldn't have mattered. But
for me, Justin's. Sorry.
I was going to say the only reason he didn't take the overall was because he had one quad that was half the size of the other one. So he tore. I think it was it was part of his sweep, like the vastus lateralis, like 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out. So it just shriveled up.
For me, Justin had like when he got his pro card, he had that like true pro look already. So
see how he's hiding it?
He's hiding it really well.
Yeah.
And they both came down. So go back to some of his picks like leading up to nationals, like beforehand. So if he had crazy legs at his qualifier. Go back, that one, these shots.
Yeah.
I mean, brother, like there's nothing wrong with these legs.
Oh, he looks crazy. Either way, he looks crazy.
This is his qualifier. If he shows up like that to nationals, he's your national champion. Click that one, the most muscular. Go up.
Yes, sir.
That one. Yeah, that one. That's how he usually hits it. And then you see how at nationals, everything is down a little, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole physique, you see everything was a little deflated. So I was talking to Ty and Justin, and it was just that injury. It just almost took the life right out of him.
Bro, he's super young too, right? Isn't he like 26?
Bro, when I found that out, what the fuck?
I was shocked.
No, he's that young? I didn't realize that. I thought he was
he's
in
young.
like mid-30s.
He might have said 25 actually when he was on, but I'm like, that was so straight. I didn't expect him to be that young. I'm like, what the fuck? That's crazy to me.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think he's 26 now or something. I'm pretty sure.
Yo, 26. Oh, he's older. Cool.
I mean, that amount of size and condition, and I don't know, and just like focus at that age, I don't know. I feel like that's pretty insane.
And right now, he's like, he's what, 280 and up, and he still has lines in his glutes.
Bro, 291.
His glutes are in year round. They never don't have lines in them.
Insane.
Well,
insane.
What does that even
He's
mean?
Like one of those
because
white boys that's round.
Yeah,
Really
it's like
round.
what does that even mean? Because he usually doesn't lose more than 25, 30 pounds to get in shape. So if he's 290 with shredded glutes, so what does that look like on stage like next year?
Well, I think at nationals he was 255 on stage, or something like that, something crazy like that.
252.
Yeah, see, something like that. So he's got to be around. He's gonna be like 260.
Yeah,
that's strange because he's not super tall, but like, I'll just say what it is. Like 252 on stage, I would have thought would be huge.
Yeah,
so it didn't translate. So. Like it's like he was good on stage. Don't get me wrong, I was there front row, but like 252 in the pro leagues is massive.
It is. Yeah.
Like Joe, what'd you weigh on stage?
The morning of, I was 247. So
you see, and
you're bigger than your physique is bigger than Justin's.
It is.
I didn't realize I think I told Beatty, I actually didn't realize. Like that was the first time I ever saw myself, and I was like, "Hey, I'm pretty large."
Yeah,
Like
the posing
so
routine,
your 247
like,
from Cal is bigger than what he just put on stage at nationals, and he was 5 pounds heavier than you.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just saying using my eyes. That's just what my eyes are saying. So
I got to give props to the muscle contest at the Cal, because for the first time, I feel like Joe translated from his pictures and videos. He actually looked huge because usually I see him in the pictures. I'm like, he don't look like that. I mean, he looks way bigger in real life, but I think he actually looked big as fuck in the videos and pictures. I thought these were some of the best pictures I've seen from muscle contests, right? Because the USA's, with all due respect,
they did good.
That was bad.
Yeah, they did good for sure.
Yeah, Joe.
Cell phone cameras are still elite, but
if you look at the, I just did a comparison thing of my 4 shows that I've done. The USA show and then this the Cal. I actually use the same tanning person. So like the people that are talking about Stu's tan being off and stuff, like that was all lighting. Like literally it was night and day. So the look was actually better in person, the tan, than it was in those photos, because the light really washed that tan out.
Right. Everybody, so get those bottom 2 USA.
Yeah. Same exact tan people. And,
I see what you mean. Yeah. This looks more reddish, brownish here. Over here looks a little more yellowish, right?
And it kind of looked like that for Stu at New York on the left, and then on the right it looked like. See.
I mean, even just look at the darkness on the USA pictures. I mean, like I don't think it's any different amount of tan, but the lighting has you looking so much darker in a bad way.
Yeah.
Losing detail.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, Joe was actually one of the thickest, if not the thickest guy on stage at the show, which I knew how wide and big he was, but I just didn't know how it would translate on stage, and it translated, It
was cool standing next to I got a chance to stand next to that dude Emir in the first
in your groups?
Yeah, man, and I was like, that guy was fucking huge, and I was like, I'm kind of like holding my own against that guy.
Yeah.
Size wise is what I'm referring to, but he was way harder than me, but just different approach.
He was probably the
yeah,
hardest on stage through the glutes.
Yeah, he was on, bro. He was fucking
for
on.
sure.
I was talking about because he was pumping up, right? And I was right behind him in line, and he's like, "Hey, man," like his deep ass German accent. "Hey, man, can you grab my shit?" And so he had me hold the resistance band. He's pumping up in front of me. I'm like, "Man, this guy's fucking amazing."
Yeah.
He was really nice too. After the show, he was like really, really nice to talk to.
Yeah.
He was cool backstage. It was cool.
I'm gonna do that at USA just to make somebody nervous. I'm like, "Hey, hold this for me," and just pump my biceps. You see that, bro? Yeah.
I could never imagine asking another competitor,
and as I'm holding it, I was getting little tiny reps in. I was like,
partials.
Partials, bro.
To be honest, like before prejudging, I don't really talk to anybody. Like after prejudging, then my brain starts working again a little bit. But before prejudging, I'm just kind of like, I don't even see anybody. Further, I'm blind.
Honestly,
I don't have.
I want to touch on that actually, because that's the biggest thing for you guys. That so like for example, Beatty, you're about to be a pro and stuff, and then Zayd and Ken. The atmosphere backstage is like night and day. So as an amateur, you go backstage and the tension's kind of high. You know, we're all chasing a pro card. You know, we're all like, fuck. Like, there's a certain stress that comes with that. There's also a certain stress that comes with being a pro, but there's also a high level of enjoyment just being there. Because it's kind of like Beatty said earlier that it's like, fuck, dog. Like, you know, you can only take your genetics so far. If the judges like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. It's out of your hands at a certain point. But to be a pro, like chasing that pro card is everything, and then you're gonna fall as a pro. So might as well just fucking enjoy it. So the atmosphere is chill as fuck. Everybody's super cool. There is no like tension. It's dope. I'm sure it's different on the Olympia level, but as far as being a pro, like in a pro show, it's dope as fuck. You're gonna really enjoy yourselves.
Yeah,
that's really good to know.
Also, I think a big part is at the at the national level, everybody thinks they're gonna win, right? Everybody's like, "This is my year." At the pro level, I think there's a couple of people who think they're gonna win, but most people are like, "Hey, man, I'm here to see what's up, where I stand, or first call out, something like that." So I think you're gonna be more relaxed when everybody in the entire lineup doesn't think they're about to get the pro card, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
For me, it was the least stressful show of my life so far. That was dope.
Yeah, I would agree with that about Texas Pro as well.
But you guys,
awesome.
So my question there is, do you guys feel like it's like that because we're all still at the stage where we're not perennial pro show winners, where there's that expectation that you should go into a show and win? So like, for example, Justin, I want to ask you, like Tonio, for example, Tonio's chill regardless, right? But like when he goes into a show, there's that expectation, all the news outlets and stuff like that he's supposed to win. If he doesn't deliver, how that affects him. So do you feel like, even as his coach, do you feel like there is a difference, being that top level Olympian versus, just a regular pro, just getting into the ranks and just trying to make your way through,
Yeah, there's way more pressure with Tonio and for him, and I tend to ask him to just put that pressure on me and for him to just like relax and just do what he's supposed to do. Like you said, he is very relaxed and nothing really rattles him. And he's just doing his thing. Like he's very confident going into every show. I mean, he was super confident going into Arnold Brazil, and rightfully so. So he thinks that he can stand with anybody, and I agree. And that's what we're going to, prove to these people over the next several years. But there is there's pressure on him for people to always be like throwing a haymaker at him. We're always going to get everyone's best shot. So that's what it's like when you have a target on your back, and that's a privilege, so the pressure that's being put on you is a privilege, but it's what keeps us moving. Right. And that's just what continues to make him better. So that's it, there is. And sometimes, coaching people like that, it's a little, week after week after week, you're like, okay, I need like a break.
Yeah.
I need some regular pros and some amateurs that are just here for fun.
Without him even being here, there was definitely, I'm sure, a difference in enjoyment when it came to me going into the show compared to Stu coming off just doing the New York Pro. Everybody's saying this is his show to win. So same thing with, I could say, Quentin, right? Quentin's already done his pro debut, but look at how his placing affected him stress-wise and how he's trying to move forward from that. So, yes, I'm sure the more in the running you are, the higher the stress level and the enjoyment kind of gets limited down more and more.
Yeah.
But I referred to you guys, right? Because we're in that stage where it's just like, hey, fuck it, we're going to figure out where we fall.
Exactly.
After this now, for example, my next show, there's still going to be a certain level of enjoyment, but I need to make sure that I'm fucking getting better. I need to make sure that my places are higher. So, yeah, it's going to take away a little bit from what I got to experience that first time. But I really want you guys to know that everybody's chill as fuck and they make it enjoyable for you. They're not assholes. Yeah. And that's the takeaway from what I was saying.
Yeah, and that's the advantage. That's the advantage that we have. You know what I mean? Like I have zero pressure going into my next show. It's like, obviously I want to win. I want to place top call outs, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Like, how many people win their pro debut? You know what I mean? So
not many.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, so for us, I feel like it's actually a gift. You know, 3 years down the line, we may be singing a different song, all of us on this podcast, you know, but for now,
man,
I'm going to enjoy it.
One of my clients did his first show at the Cal, and I'm just seeing how chill and relaxed and fun he's having. I was like, I kind of miss that shit, bro. When you were just doing a local show and it was so fun, bro. You watching Kevin Lavoni videos and you fucking eating your chicken and rice, and it's just, you're so excited, bro. And every day is so fun. And I'm trying to be that way this year, but it's kind of further. We're grown men now, like, you know, it's a little different because we know how much we're sacrificing, right? Because we're not kids anymore, so there's a lot of responsibility, and we can't just waste our time anymore. There's a lot of other people who have, you know, a lot of belief in us and maybe relying on us in a lot of ways. So we know we have to deliver no matter what. So part of that does take a little bit of fun out of it. But I'm trying to just, you know, one of my boys, Janicki, we always, anytime we talk, we try to just talk about how much we love it and enjoy it, because we're privileged enough to be able to do this without having to work a 9 to 5 or anything like that. And that's definitely a privilege that we have to remember. We're healthy. You know, we're young, you know, we have pretty good genetics. I mean, all of us do. So let's try to enjoy it, because we're not going to do this forever. We have 6 to 10 years that we're going to really do this in our prime. So let's enjoy the next 6 years to 10 years and not make it like miserable. Like, I felt like shit. I hate this. Let's try to enjoy it. You know, it's important. You know?
Yeah.
Well said.
This last prep was way different. Like I said, you know, I've only done 4 shows, and each show has gotten better. And as I mature in the sport, I learned how to enjoy the preps more. Like this one, I went to like 4 or 5 different gyms. I was open to talking to people. I wasn't so like, I guess like the workouts were always serious, but I gave people the time of day. Like, you know, like, because in my head, I'm like, man, these guys are going on their way because they support me. So I try to really be optimistic about what's really going on around me. And it did make the prep way more enjoyable. It really did. And the shit you saw, I mean, if you guys were there, right? So you can hear how many people were there to support Paul and I. I mean, because for that, it made all that worth it. Those little 2 seconds they asked for, like, hey man, how you doing? How you feel? Like, and I know it's hard sometimes, but you know, it's all worth it hearing that and feeling that support. It's fucking cool. And then going to those different gyms, bro, exposing yourself like that.
It does.
Dope.
Honestly, props to you, Joe, because I watched all your YouTube videos, you know, while you were doing that prep.
You,
and yeah, there wasn't one episode where I looked and I was like, man, this guy, he fucking hates doing this right now.
Yeah, right. He was having fun the whole time.
He seemed like he was having fun the whole time from the entire.
And that was the vibe, the whole prep.
So,
yeah, and
Props to
I
you.
mean, every workout you can see it. You know, I mean, I've been told like you feel the energy of the workout. Like I'm giving it my all and shit. But I'm also, you know, just like you said, I was just happy to fucking do it because I'm literally living the dream. I'm not getting paid millions of dollars, but shit, you know, like to be able to do this, there's no better life, at least for me. You know, like I love it. You know?
See, now I'm kind of nervous to post my next video. It was from it was a leg day Friday, and I was feeling like shit. I sent check-ins, and Compton upped the cardio, lowered the food, and I'm already miserable. So that whole leg day is, I don't know how it's gonna come across. I gotta edit it, but I was just miserable. My hoodie was this low. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I feel like I was kind of being a dick, and I'm like, fuck. But in that moment, I just couldn't. I couldn't snap out of it. I couldn't. So it is what it is. But I mean, that's also real. I gotta show both sides, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I have to show that I don't always have a sense of humor. Sometimes I get a little miserable.
And it's different for everyone. Like I'm kind of like in preps. I'm not as jolly in preps. I'll be honest. I'm not like this happy-go-lucky guy when I'm in preps. I'm just hoodie down, and you know, I'm just trying to get the job done, get it to the finish line, because I'm just like you. I'm not really a happy person when I'm in prep. So it's different for everyone. Yeah. I'm trying to change. So Joe, you've actually inspired me. Like you and Stu, just seeing how you guys handled your preps this year, you guys have inspired me that my next prep, I want to make sure that I try to keep things as normal as possible, just from an emotional state. So yeah, that's the job, a task at hand that I'll see next year. So if I'm quiet on the pod next year, just call me out. Just be like, remember what you said today.
Yeah.
No, it's cool, bro. And I mean, shit, I was on a podcast a few times where it's very prevalent that I'm on prep. Yeah. I mean, Beatty has said like, hey, Joe's more talkative now than he's ever been in forever. But it's you know, there's gonna be lows, and like it's just cool that, say, when you work out, it sucks to start, like it really fucking does. But once you get like that first like real working set in that shoots 100%. Your adrenaline, it's like, I'm gonna ride this bitch out to the fucking wheels fall off. Fuck it. And then that's when I start talking more, because it's almost like once you hit a certain peak, if you kind of just keep that up, it stays. And then once you calm down, it fucking dies. So the pace of the workout is always like Paul goes, I go, Paul goes, I go. Because if there's any sort of like moment where like a good 5 minutes passes, it'll start fucking.
It's over.
It goes away. Yeah.
Instead of leg pressing, I've been doing 2 squatting movements now, because for some reason now it's shifted that I actually, as long as I wrap my knees, the squat feels good, and the knee hurts a little bit more on the leg press. So after doing three working sets to failure on a pedal, I'm doing hack squats now, right? I'm on the second set, and I'm looking at the turf. I'm like, I want to go lay down, just like 2 minutes. But I know if I lay down, I ain't getting back up, bro. I'm not getting back up. I was like, let me just fuck. I'm like, let me just stand. I didn't want to sit down. I'm like, okay, I'm just stand right here. I'm not gonna sit down, because if I sat down, I would have faded bad. So I just stood up, mean mugging, and then I was like, fuck it, let's do it again. And then once I was finished, I lay down, and of course I was down for like 15 minutes. I ain't budge.
I swear the trigger for every leg workout to really just set the tone is, so I usually start with line leg curls. Now get some blood flow to the back. 100%. But once I get to the leg extension, which is usually the second movement, and I take it to that like 15 to 20 rep range where those last 5 are just insane and like on fire. My legs pump to shit with each rep. And I take it there, like where I'm like screaming. After that, I'm fucking awake. And if I just carry that the rest of the way, I'm good. So leg extensions is the key.
See, in off season, I like to get straight, like as soon as I can, to get straight to the heavy shit, because in off season I might trail off quick because I'm heavier. So I might just go extensions straight to a squat movement. But in prep, I kind of have to wake myself up. So like you said, like I'll do some calves, get blood moving, then I do maybe leg curls first, then extensions. Then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go to do some squats, right? It's like I got to wake my body up, because when you get to the gym, you're kind of like dead, right? So it kind of works different. Yeah. Justin, also, I know you got to dip out for another podcast. I don't know how much time you got, so just let me know.
Like 8 more minutes.
Okay, bet. All right. Let me pull up. I think this guy looks really good, actually. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be on a podcast maybe next week. I gotta check the schedule. But Felix Norman.
Oh,
He's
2022 North American champion. My predecessor.
It's been 2 years already?
Yeah. He won the one before me.
Time flies. I mean, he looked crazy back then.
That picture that I saw, that's really impressive.
Really small waist, round muscle bellies. You don't see that very often. How often do you see a tiny waist on a big guy with round muscle bellies? It's not very common.
Good legs.
What's so impressive about him is this kind of physique, right? His physique looks like that hard, grainy, heavyweight poundage physique. A lot of times, like you said, the waist is not that small or aesthetic. It's like he has the aesthetics and the graininess all in one at the same time. It's very, very
rare.
It's so unique. I feel like his physique is so unique.
He's
and the
big.
legs. Yeah.
And like he's big. Like he's a large human being too. He's tall.
Yeah, he commented because we were talking about his height, and then he commented on his story. He said he's 5'11", right? Is that what he said? 5'10"? 5'10"?
Just a very like imposing physique on stage.
Yeah.
Good size and height and everything like that.
The shoulder width, and he has the legs on a tall guy. I mean, he has all the tools, man. I mean, what show did he
kind of reminds me of he kind of looks like Wolski a little bit.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, the waist, the shoulder width, the sweeps,
the legs. Yeah,
I could see that.
Shoulders into the quads to me.
Yeah, that Wolski guy is definitely coming into his own.
Yeah, he had a great physique, like really, really good, and he was getting better as he was posing. He just was sweating like crazy.
Yeah, he was sweating bullets. He was sweating really bad.
It was ridiculous how much he was sweating.
Felix is
coming.
It's so dope to see that like in person too. Like that was another thing from the Cal that I got to experience is being that up close to the posing, like standing right behind these guys, like seeing the detail on their fucking bodies up close like that. It's fucking crazy.
It's
like
insane,
that guy,
yeah.
what's his name? Fuck. Is it Budesheim? No.
Budesheim,
Yeah,
10 minutes.
Yeah, bro. Crazy.
Why don't you think he did well? Why do you think he didn't place higher at this show?
His midsection's all over the place.
Yeah, bro. It's peeled though.
This is not super well put together. He's got crazy body parts and stuff like that, but again, there's not a lot of flow.
You're right. You know what's weird though? In some poses, he looks almost aesthetic, but then he's not really. Right? It's strange. He has a very different looking physique. If I'm being honest, it's
when
very
he's
different.
when he's facing forward is when he loses.
I agree.
Good, really good from the side, good from the back. But when his midsection is exposed, so front relax, front double, front lat spread, those are the poses that he slides.
Yeah.
It's midsection related for him. Just like a lot of the open guys, So like Kennedy and Zayd, you're going to go into the open, right?
Yeah.
Zayd and Joe, like body when you get your card, like you guys are all open guys. So if you want to do well in the open, keep your midsection in check. That's like the fastest way to go up.
One of the best compliments I got from that show was that because a lot of the guys, when they turn around, they let out their midsection. You see everything. And one of the best compliments I got was like, Joe, like whatever you do, keep what you did or keep your midsection as tight as possible. You said because even if you're a little wider set, like Nick, right, on the obliques and stuff, they said when I turned around, my gut didn't spill out once. Like it didn't pop out like crazy and stuff. Yeah. And so he's like, that's going to work for your favor if you keep that the whole way through. That was cool to hear. People noted, like they watch for shit like that apparently. So you never know who's watching. They and you know it's funny because I actually think he said it in my YouTube video when Justin came down and hit shoulders with us, and he was watching us pose. He told me, "Be careful when I turn around and to not let my gut spill out."
He told me
He
the same
said,
thing.
people, yeah. He said, because people watch from the side, they try to take pictures of it and they take into consideration. So they start looking for it. So, that sticks with you, right? So, but people are always watching for all that shit, the little slip ups.
Didn't Tyler say
You
that
get
in the New York
labeled a
Pro
gut
video?
if you- Go ahead, sorry.
Didn't Tyler mention the midsection control in the New York Pro video?
But it's
I
crazy,
found-
even in the back
that's the point.
shots, though. That's the thing, the back shots too, because there's people watching on the side, kind of like even the judging panel. The farther they go, say you're in the middle, the farther the judge panel goes, they can see it,
Yeah,
and so they look for it.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah, and which is kind of weird, but and if you get labeled a gut guy, like you've got like if you get labeled as that, like hey, just watch this guy's belly, that's like all they look at.
It's bad. Yeah.
Oh,
That happened to Phil. Once Phil got that label, and he couldn't live it down.
he literally lost because of it.
Literally, like that was the only reason he lost. Think about that.
Yeah.
Rolly.
I didn't have Sean Roden winning that year.
Rolly, another one.
I still had Phil winning out, if I'm being completely honest.
I do this thing when I'm posing, right? And I actually I noticed Hunter do it too. I didn't realize he did it. I just kind of like, hey, I do that too. If ever you see me do this, I'm like breathing like a motherfucker, covering my gut, and then I'll open up into like a pose. So even on my transition from my side try, to my ab and thigh, I'll do this where I breathe, but my gut is like out, but I cover it so tight. You just see my chest all popped, and then I'll vacuum up into a ab and thigh.
Smart.
But little things like that, because like I don't want them to see my gut, because I'm fucking huffing and puffing at some point. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
that's some. That's some. I definitely learned that. I learned that from Keon actually. Keon has no distension, but I think for him, he wants to pull the vacuum. He doesn't want to show his flexed abs, so he does that every time he goes into it. He makes it look pretty, So I kind of took that. I kind of took because you have a small. My waist is very small this way. It's narrow, but what does that mean? If it comes out, it's gonna come out this way. So I got to control it inward. So I make sure I'm covering and then showing it, in the best positions. But Justin, I'm gonna let you head out since
I'm just waiting. I just texted them and I'm just waiting. So I'm gonna hang with you guys until I have a link to jump on. I don't even have a link. So
perfect.
So
Which part are you doing?
Desktop bodybuilding with Joey.
Oh, Xavier.
Dope,
Xavier.
Yeah.
I really like the way I did the Canadian beef one last week.
That was good. And
that was I really like the way Robin runs that podcast too. I think he's really professional. Very like it's just like here. There wasn't one dull moment. It looks like there was just a really good flow. So that's dope.
That's
Robin
another
is
guy
awesome.
that's another guy that's deep in prep that's so positive and so
Robin Strand.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that guy.
It makes you feel good, right?
Dude. Yeah,
he puts you in a good mood.
You listen to him and you just feel good. He's got that
that's why.
He got that
that legendary voice, like his voice is, once he's done with bodybuilding, I think he should take over Bob Ciccarello's spot because
definitely.
You know what's funny? Speaking of Bob Ciccarello, bro,
got the voice.
You guys grew up watching Malcolm in the Middle, right?
Yeah.
Bro, he was one of the bodybuilders in that scene.
Yeah,
bro. I
Rich
just got onto it. Yeah, so I knew Rich was in it, but then I was like, wait a minute, I fucking know that guy. It's Bob, bro.
Bob Chick. That's funny.
He won the USA's. Did you know that? Year 2000?
No, I didn't.
It's a Mr. USA.
He did it like 30 times.
Just gonna throw that in there.
just fucking around. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna do it about 20 times.
Nah, it's your last one, baby.
Last one.
He did 13 times. Yeah.
Oh, he really did it that many times. But I didn't know he did that many times. Holy 13
fuck! Times. Yeah.
But he was coaching himself until he hired George Farah.
Farah.
Yeah. Then he won. Yeah.
And back then it was 1-2. Don't forget, it was just one.
That's true. Yeah, good point.
Only the overall winner.
Yeah. Don't coach yourself, guys. Trust me.
No way.
I did.
He looked
At
good, dude.
some
Bobby
point,
used to
it
look
was
really good.
He
at
did.
some point it was the overall winner, right? And then didn't they eventually give it to like second as well, like the runner up somewhere down the line?
I don't know.
I know
I
it
don't know
became
about
I don't think so.
class winners after that.
It was class
Okay,
winners after.
I thought they gave it to the second runner up and then eventually a class winners.
that. Do you guys think they should continue to give second pro cards to at the nationals?
No.
I don't
think
feel
so.
Class winners is okay, but I think first and second is a little strange.
Dude, there is like 80 guys out there. First and
Good.
second are probably very comparable. So they probably both look like pros and they're ready for the pro league, you know? I
Yeah,
think
so-
first and second is good enough.
So then keep going then. If you look like a pro, you're gonna get it anyways, right?
Especially the fact that
No,
Nationals
just first and
is-
second, you know?
especially the fact that Nationals is the last show of the year. You have other chances to get that. I mean, you have a class winner, and then you have, you know, overall winner or whatever. It's just a little strange for second place. You know, all the other shows, USA's, North Americans. Hell, North Americans doesn't even give all the class winners. It's top 4
No.
in the
Yeah.
overall that gets it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a little strange. Like I would like some parity across all the national shows.
I agree.
That's why Nationals honestly has the most competitors, to be quite honest with you, because
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
you have a better
for sure.
chance. You have a better chance.
But it's like, but then that logic falls apart though when there's 50 guys in one class, whereas then you go to USA's and there's 18.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you can use heavyweights as a good example this past year at USA's. So like at USA's, there were under 20 heavyweights, and then at Nationals, there were like 40.
yeah.
So they, you know, they all double up because well, there's 2 pro cards. It's like, yeah, but when there's double the amount of guys, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It's like
So
your odds are still the same.
yeah,
Not
technically,
maybe worse.
technically, if they took that away, it would just balance it out. I think some of the guys would just do USA, some of the guys would do nationals. It will probably level out, you know. But
I think a big part of it is timing of the year as well. Because some people like to kind of like ease into their prep. So if you're going to ease into your prep and do USAs, you're starting in January, you know, whereas like when you do nationals at the end of the year, it's like, well, they've got all this time to kind of kick around all their options and see what they want to do. And then I do feel like a lot of people do pick nationals because it's last. So I think timing of the year makes as much of a difference with anything, even more so than the extra pro card. You know, I like what North Americans does because, like, quite frankly, like lightweight and, you know, those other ones, like, I don't really care if they get pro cards or not. I mean, no offense, no disrespect to them, but like, you know, it's not.
But there's a certain level, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, when they've given pro cards to like a bantamweight, right? It goes as low as bantamweight, and I'm just like, for me, it doesn't make any sense if you can't do anything for say years on end with that. Like, because you're not like you may have won a pro card against these other guys, but none of those guys in bodybuilding are going to look like that in the actual pro league. So, like,
Actually,
how long is it going to take you to get there?
I actually even have a hot take on.
Go ahead.
Well,
I have a
Ken's
hot take
takes.
on that.
Okay, let's
Because-
go. Let's get into it.
I hope I don't get in trouble.
We should have a segment: hot takes and hot cakes.
Listen, when bodybuilding originally was created, right, we had all these classes to be able to accommodate, you know, some of these lighter guys. But there's so many divisions now. Like, I honestly don't think bodybuilding should even start at bantam anymore. I feel like bodybuilding should probably start at like lightweight, you know, lightweight, light heavy, or whichever is the one below light heavy, whichever that one is. Middleweight. Yeah. Because, dude, as a bantam, I mean, what are you going to do realistically? Like, even 212 these days, like, what's the prereq?
I think Sean is the only guy from bantam that's done anything.
Yeah. Because
anomaly.
Because
Okay,
212 amateurs is like what, middleweight, right? That's the lowest you typically will see that would get into 212s. is middleweight,
Because
right?
that's what I did. That's
Yeah.
what I
So
If
what's
you're
the point?
if you're good enough at the bantamweight, like Sean or Dexter, because Dexter did win a bantamweight, he beat the super.
Oh yeah, that's right. Dexter went Bantam Pro.
Well, no, he got the pro card at the middle, I believe, or lightweight,
Oh,
right? But he won his first overall, beating the super heavy or beating the heavyweight as a bantam. If you're good enough at the bantam and you enter the lightweight, let's say if they didn't have bantam and you had to go straight to light or middle, Dexter and Sean would have been able to win the lightweight anyways.
Yeah.
Even if they were underweight by 20 pounds. So when you're really good enough, you're gonna get the card anyways. So I don't agree with everybody wins. Listen, it's okay to not get your pro card. If you're not good enough, it's okay to not get your pro card. Everybody doesn't have to have one. That's against the point. So, or like let's say if I do you say, oh, you got fourth, why don't you do more shows? It's like you're missing the point. I got fourth because I wasn't good enough to beat 1, 2, 3. So I need to get good enough to beat them. Not okay. Let me see what I can do to like get more. That's not how my brain works. I don't care about that. It's cool. The card is cool, but I need to get better because I couldn't beat 1, 2, 3. It's fourth, not second. So this idea that you need to just get a pro card because you want one. I don't give a fuck what you want. You're not good enough. Get better, and you will get it. So this whole second place thing. Okay, well, but there's so many guys. That's the point. It's the fucking pro ranks. It's supposed to be competitive. That's supposed to be easy. So let's stop thinking that, oh, you should just get one. No, earn one. If you're not good enough, get better. If you're still not good enough, it wasn't in your cards, motherfucker. You know, I wanted to be in the NBA. Am I in the NBA? No. You know what I'm saying? You don't just give me an NBA card because I want one, you know, so earn it, you know. That's how I look at it, you know. Or anytime somebody comments, how are you not a pro? Because I didn't fucking win, right? Well, because you look good, you're supposed to be a pro. Everybody looks good. You know, everybody does. So
exactly.
Let's bring back earning shit. Nobody deserves it.
I was just gonna say, like, to be honest, like I'm gonna use myself as an example because this is the most prevalent. I am a Mr. USA, and I was third call-outs on my pro debut, and I wasn't small, you know. So that gives you kind of a perspective, man. Like, fuck, you know, I won an amateur, I was an amateur that turned pro at a higher level, and I still got my ass handed to me by some of the best, you know. So it's just like, with that, it's a reality check to anybody that wins on like that's not really ready yet. You know what I'm saying? Like at a certain level, because this is where I feel like in the amateur leagues there should actually some, like, it's crazy to say it, but like in bodybuilding, there's no heights like for the weights, and that's why, you know, like the Seans and whatever can do well, like winning their pro card at a lighter weight because they're so short.
Good point, yeah.
So I do think there should be some sort of like height requirement as far as when you're trying to get your pro card, and then it goes away as an open pro, like, because that's really what dictates how big you really are in bodybuilding is your height to weight ratio.
Yeah,
good point.
Yeah, it's usually relatively correlated.
Yeah. Because the Sean thing only works, even though we say, well, he's a bantamweight, but the truth is that he's just short, because he would have been a middleweight or light heavyweight if he was everybody else's height. He just happens to, you know, so it's not really a weight thing. He still carries the density. So, you know, so it wouldn't have mattered. Like we said, it wouldn't have mattered if there was no bantamweight, because given his height, he was probably more muscular than the lightweights. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. But,
but Joe, be careful with that, man. If you do that, I would have been a super, bro. Come on.
Hey, man, you're what, 5'7", walking around 275 pounds? You're fucking huge, dog.
Well, see, that's the thing. The cream rises anyways. You know, like, okay, Zayd could win his card as a heavyweight and as a super either way, right? So it's like, okay, it's almost like it almost doesn't matter. If you're good enough, you're fucking good enough. It might take a little longer, but you're still gonna be good enough, right? So it might take you an extra year or two, but I
can't tell you enough, bro. How many people told me, why don't you switch to classic and get your card over there, and then go into bodybuilding?
That should drive you, bro. Just be like, don't worry about it. I'll show you why I'm not a classic.
I hate that.
And people that say that are misinformed too. Because I think classic is actually harder to turn pro these days because
Yeah,
there's so
it can
many
be.
guys.
can be.
Yeah, dog. Like,
It definitely can be.
Well, okay,
I wouldn't
because
say harder, but I
You
would
gotta
say
have the
just
look.
as hard.
You got to have
yeah,
the right
literally,
look.
you're born with the look. Like bodybuilding,
Exactly.
you literally can build your body into a pro
Yeah,
open
you get freaky,
bodybuilder.
and you can win. But classic, you got to have the shape.
That's
yeah,
true.
Classic
not
is like figure for girls. You either got it or you don't.
or
Like,
you
you got
don't.
the bone structure or you don't.
When Ken says harder, he doesn't mean harder and like you have to work harder. Harder and like there's actually a less chance that you happen to be that genetic freak, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you know, let's say if all of us have to do classic, there's no bodybuilding. Well, how does Nick Walker and Branch Warren turn pro? They can't get it. They can't out muscle you or really out condition you if
By
they have to make the weight.
definition, they wouldn't. Yeah. By the
Exactly.
categories, expectations, they wouldn't.
Exactly. It doesn't mean they don't work harder or just as hard. It's just that genetically they just don't have the genetics
Yeah.
to beat somebody at that weight class. So people that say that, I'm like, bro, you don't realize what you're doing. This is actually going to be harder for you to turn pro in classic because just because you're the biggest, hardest guy, you still don't have the look. You're better off just getting bigger, harder, denser, bringing up body parts, and you'll probably get it right. So I know the average person uses that as a compliment. Like, wow, you have such great do classic, but it's like we don't become bodybuilders because we want to lose. We want to not make progress or lose progress. Like we like to grow, we like to train, we like to work. So this idea of like go the easier route, which is like we said, not even easier, but to lose or to look worse just to place higher, we don't fuck with that. So you're not gonna get any real bodybuilder who actually wants to look worse to place higher. That's not gonna happen. So I get it. That's y'all mindset, but that's why you guys don't compete. With all due respect, that's why you guys will probably never win anything because that's your mindset. Let me look for an easier way. That's not even easier. You know what I'm saying? So,
I've taken so many people out of divisions and put them in other divisions solely because of the fact that their physique is improving. And I'm like, we're going to have to slow this down if you are to try and stay within the confinements of this class. So you let your body dictate the class that you compete in, not the other way around. Too many people are like they're like, oh, I want to look like Chris Bumstead, so they want to do classic. It's like, you're never going to look like him.
boom, boom.
Your physique will tell you what division it's meant for. Men's physique, classic, open, whatever. Like, it'll tell you. Keep growing, do things the right way, control your midsection, do all the stuff, but it'll land where it's supposed to land. And I see that the most often in classic. People trying to stay within the confinements of that division, and they just don't belong there because their bodies are progressive. They're like, no, grow. And you're like purposely keeping it small. So 100%. It happens all the time in the amateurs and in the pros.
My client was a middleweight and he could have made weight for classic, right? And he's like, should I do them all? I'm like, which one do you like? Straight up. What do you like?
Just because you can make weight doesn't mean that you are classic too. That's another thing.
Exactly. And at this level, he would have won classic as well. But but it didn't matter. But I think he's so round and like freaky in his own way that wouldn't be the long-term goal anyway. So what's the point? Spend extra money to win classic as well? I'm like, nah, let them have it. You don't need that shit. You know, you're gonna win the bodybuilding, no problem. What's
the difference between classic, pro, weight, and amateur? Is it what, 10 pounds? Is that
10
what it is?
pounds.
So right around there.
Around 10 pounds. Yeah. So if you turn pro as a classic and you don't blow people out of the water, right? I personally, that 10 pounds is not going to make a difference in the pro ranks. You're just going to be lost. You're just going to be lost in the mix. So that's why I just think that's one of those classes that, like everyone is saying, if you have it, you don't even need the 10 pounds. Everyone's already looking for you. Versus if you're trying to just meet that weight, you're never really going to be at the top of the class. And if you're competing at this level, that's all we all want to do, right? So
I agree. Shit, if anything, you're better off doing the opposite. If it works out, like I know, like Bumstead turned pro as a super because of his height, but then he kind of fell right within that weight without having to lose muscle, and he was still able to progress. Right. We could even say Brett, Apex Brett, one of our me and Joe's teammates. Right. He could never make weight at the classic in at the amateur, but you know he turned pro.
Some great shape, bro.
Beautiful shape. I would say if he turns, he's a super now. If he turns pro, he's probably gonna be in like the mid 230s. I think for his height, I think he could weigh like 230 as a pro, and I think he could actually without having to lose anything, he could go straight into a pro show as classic and do really well. You know, knowing him. He's gonna do the same shit and he's gonna outgrow it anyways. But just to be like, okay, I got my card and I know I can jump right into a classic show and get first call out, right? So that would make more sense that way. But turning part of the classic just to go to open, if anything, is a longer way to go.
Yeah, that would be dumb.
Hey, I'm calling it right. I'm calling it right now, Beatty. Straight up, you bring the conditioning, like you fall through it, Justin. Just don't get you right. You just gotta follow it. It's going to be you and Brett, and where you 100%. Get Brett, it's because he's a super heavy. But your back is better. So as long as you do your job, you'll beat Brett. But Brett will come in diced. That's your motivation, dog. Honestly, straight up, he's the only one standing in your way.
I got no doubt it's going to be me and Brett in the last time. He's actually going to be on a podcast Wednesday. I think Wednesday or Sunday. That's
going to be something that I cannot wait to see because you guys are both super aesthetic. You're bubbly, but he's super pretty shaped. But because you're bubbly, you can beat him, and because of your back, you can beat him. It's just a matter of can you show the detail? Because if you do, it's game over. But he's going to put up a fight.
And that guy Filippo is going to look good too, bro. He's a super now, and he's doing the USA. He's as tall as you guys and very fucking wide with big quads.
Who are you talking about?
He was a heavy last year, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The one he went against Brett last year. He went against Brett last year, right?
Hey, on some real shit.
Yeah, he was a heavy.
Before I forget, baby, since it's kind of prevalent. I mean, I have a lot of time right now. If you want, because honestly, I think you keep your legs, dog, you're fucking unbeatable. So if you want me to actually train your legs, I'll come in and I'm not going to charge your ass. Obviously, I'll just come in, train you at Fit Nation, and get your legs to stay as much as possible. So just let me know.
The only issue is that if anything, I'm overdoing the legs, right? Because
that's why.
Yeah.
You saw how I kept my legs completely this whole fucking prep, and that's something that I lost and for USAs. So I have a strategy in mind for you. I've been thinking about telling you, but it's just a matter of if you want to get it done.
Let's talk then. Let's talk. I can literally feel when my legs start to go. They feel hollow. I'll be walking and they're wobbly. And even on stage, I couldn't feel my legs. You probably can't tell, but I couldn't flex them. When I hit him, I'm not really flexing them. They're that far gone. Imagine that you can't even flex the muscle.
Yeah. So one thing I've learned hitting legs when it comes closer and closer to prep, because it's putting your ego aside, right? It's okay, we're not trying to gain muscle anymore. We're not trying to do something crazy. It's more about how much mind-muscle connection can I create with the most intense stimulus possible. So you try to move the loads that you can, but those loads are being moved with the muscle, and you're literally contracting those loads, and that is how you're going to keep your legs.
That's it.
And you're not destroying your legs with volume, like crazy volume, but it's the intensity behind the sets. So say you do 2 working sets, each exercise. Say you only do 3 quad exercises. That's really all you need. Just 2 working sets each, and you do them right. They're going to stay alive. And 100%. That's the point of what I'm trying to get you to do, because I'm seeing your legs are staying right now, but you're also not, you're crossing the line right now to that really fucking deep part of the trenches of the prep. And that's kind of where I want to come in and help you out.
So
that's a good point, bro.
Me and Jacoby was talking about that before you guys came on. When you say training with ego, it doesn't mean we're not 18 years old. So if our egos are involved, it's not like us doing half reps with 12 plates. It's not us trying to impress somebody for a video. It's our own personal ego. Like, I'm going to out-train Brett, or I'm going to train this guy. And you're going harder than you should. Like you said, not understanding that you're not going to build muscle anyways on fucking 50 grams of carbs and 2 hours of cardio. So what you want to do is keep that muscle. And if you're trying to build muscle, you end up losing it. Because in my head, it's not about anybody else watching. It's like, I got to train harder. But no, you don't. At that point, it's okay. Like, you don't have to, the point right now isn't for you to do PRs and hack squat 8 plates. Is you're literally just trying to maintain something there, given the recovery involved. You cannot recover with fucking 300 grams of protein and 50 carbs doing four squat movements and heavy. You just can't. So at that point, you're doing the opposite. You're making yourself a worse bodybuilder by trying to be hardcore. Fuck hardcore. The judges don't care whether you train like Branch or Ronnie. They don't give a fuck about that. It's what you show on stage, and whatever is conducive to that. That's something I had to understand, right? You don't have to fucking squat 5 plates 2 weeks out. This is not the point. Your legs are getting worse because you're overdoing it. 90 minutes of cardio. Well, like, you can't do that and train legs twice a year. You just can't.
And when I say ego, right? For example, say in the off season you're squatting 6 plates for 10 reps. Say you have that drive, that fucking animal in you that can do that shit 4 weeks out. Those reps, say you can still match it too. Say it's 10 reps you matched, right? That 10 reps is not the same as your off-season 10 reps. Why?
No.
Because that 10 reps is being moved by heart and effort, not the muscle itself.
Boom.
And so you're not truly stimulating the muscles you're trying to keep. It's just whatever's going to take over is going to take over. But cool, I fucking did it. I must be keeping all my muscle. That's not the case.
No.
All that load is in your glutes, your hammies, wherever the fuck. And then boom, you wake up one morning, your fucking quad are strung out and shit. You're like, what the fuck happened? I didn't lose much strength. I mean, if you have a good work ethic, a good drive, a big heart and passion for it, you're going to be able to move some heavy loads still. But that's not what it's about at a certain point.
No.
So
and then if you can't recover, then you just wasted your time. And this even though I did it Friday, I'm not gonna do it again. Friday, I was like in a bad mood, so I was using emotion to train harder than I should. And then for the next 2 days, literally my legs have felt like noodles. I can't risk my legs. My legs shouldn't feel like noodles 8 weeks out. So I'm like, okay, that I won't do that again. I'm not gonna let my emotions make me train harder than my legs can recover from. So that's when I've got to, but mostly, like you said, mostly volume and output. Your output doesn't have to be 11 out of 10 at this point when you know that you don't have enough food to recover. It's okay. It's okay to be 8 or 9 out of 10 output. That's okay. It's not going to make you.
Have you ever heard like a high level coach, or has anybody ever told you like train with purpose, or like move each rep with purpose? That's literally to the T, like the detail, right? Like,
yeah.
Say you're doing the leg extension, right? Are you doing the leg extension just to pick it up, or are you actually contracting the quad? Is that weight being moved with purpose? Because the purpose is to keep those quads. So that's where you just got to make that shift. Because I think something happens when you get to a certain level of conditioning around like the 5 to 6 weeks out mark. That's where you have to start to be more strategic with training and how you need to start moving these loads. And that's how you're going to keep everything. And it's going to keep the workouts, honestly, like
shorter.
Fun. Shorter, fun, more focused, because you're going to be in tune with the body in that moment. And I think you're going to get the most out of every set and rep that way. And you won't get discouraged, because the intensity is what you need at a certain point, and that's it. And not by load, but yeah, exactly.
So, hey guys, I gotta run really quick. I'm sorry.
Of course, no.
The other guys are waiting on me. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I definitely would love to get back on with you guys and be able to chat a little bit more. Sorry, we got our wires crossed with timing, so I had to jump off a little earlier than expected.
No, man. Thanks for coming on, man. Great having you on, brother.
All right, guys. Chatting it up, brother.
All right, see you guys. All right, we'll see you around.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, but speaking on like the training thing. Yeah. Okay, so I think it's more important to, this is like a general rule of thumb. At any point in prep or even off season, if you feel that you're not excited to train and you're dreading training, you're probably overdoing it. You're probably doing too much volume. Then you're right. That's one thing I know. If I'm not recovering, I start to dread it. I'm like, oh fuck, I got fucking legs again, oh chest again. But if I'm recovering, I'm like, oh yes, I feel strong. Let's do it. So usually when I over push volume, for whatever reason the case is, I start to feel that feeling like I don't want to work out. So I know, at least for my body, that's a good way to know that you're overdoing it. I love training, so I should still have a little bit of excitement, even if I'm tired, even if I feel like shit. Once I get to a point where I'm overtraining, it makes me not want to work out. So that's when I know I have to like pull something back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's usually a good way.
And bro, like I think I talked to Paul about this. Because I've heard it kind of across the board with some of you guys, even on the podcast. This is way early. We were all in off season at one point, and we talked about we all got in this due to the love of training. That was the original thing, and we get kind of caught up in numbers and being smart about everything. But sometimes, even in prep, bro, you can find that love again based on how you decide to train. So things I'm telling you, right? So it can get discouraging when a load feels too heavy, you're not feeling it right, you're not getting that pump. When you can start to strategize and make that shit work for where it excites you, I think that's where that, like Ken said, like he saw me like happy-go-lucky, just happy to fucking be training, happy to be doing the prep. Because one thing I did, and it took all the stress away, and it makes you feel better, is I trained how I wanted to. It wasn't so serious as to like, fuck, I have to do this after this. No, it's like,
I love that.
I'm just gonna fucking try. I even listened to the music at the end that I would originally listen to when I first like left high school and went straight to the gym, and it brought it all back, bro. And I told Paul, I was like, because he would ask me, "What are we doing today?" I'm like, "Whatever the fuck I feel like doing." Like, I'm gonna make this fun. I'm gonna get a sick ass pump, and I'm gonna go pose, and we're fucking done. But at this point, bro, like, again, it's not about progression. It's about just having a fucking good time doing this, because we're not building muscle anymore. We're here to just fuck shit up and get the job done. That's it.
Yeah.
You know how shitty it feels to be like backstage at a show, or like, a day after the show talking, and people chatting, and they're like, oh yeah, I did 20 minutes of cardio, I was training that, I was eating 400 carbs. You sitting there knowing how you busted your ass, right? And you still lost to them, right? And you watching their videos and you're seeing them train, they have their headphones on, they, and like, it's so easy. Like, that's when you have to realize that you're doing it wrong. You're overdoing it sometimes. Some people can get away with it, but most of us, when it gets to that point in prep, you got to start using your brain a little bit more and less of trying to outdo people. It's not about outdoing the next person. It never is. It's irrelevant. If Joe is pressing 5 plates, that has nothing to do with me. I don't need to press 5 plates. That's not the point of it. So I think that's something that's important to remember. And that happened to me so much that I just got fed up. I'm like, it's not about outworking these people. Discipline is different, but in the gym, it's not about what anybody else is doing. It's about what you have to do for your body. No, nothing more, nothing less. That's it.
Yeah.
Bro, and never forget where you came from, bro. Like why you started doing this. Because in those moments where you kind of start feeling sorry for yourself, I'm not speaking about you in particular, it's anybody in general. It's always taking yourself back to that place as to why the fuck you're doing it in the first place. Because I didn't do this to fucking put posing trunks on and pose for people. No, man. Like I did it because it was the one thing that made me feel fucking amazing every single day. And I did it as much as I could as long as I recovered, because I wanted to keep doing it, right? So don't forget.
What other reason would there be to be a bodybuilder? It's not the money. It's not the girls. You have to love it. So if I felt like I hated this, I wouldn't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is bodybuilding doing for me? Besides making me feel good. So if I honestly hate it or I don't love it, I wouldn't do it. I don't need bodybuilding to be somebody in this world. I don't need muscles to be somebody world. Like I can I'm a hustler. I can make money doing whatever. I could sell shoes if I wanted. I could do whatever. I don't need the sport to make a living. I don't need the sport for my self-esteem. I don't need any of it. So I do it because I love it. Nothing more, nothing less. Once I stop loving it, I won't do it. I just don't think I'll ever stop loving it, if I'm being honest, you know. So that should be, if you can't enjoy working out, fuck this, you know. If I had to train in a fashion that I hated to work out every day, I wouldn't even want to do it. So it's, even if it worked better, it would be pointless, right? If I had to do some, you know, some shit that I hate, it wouldn't be worth it for me. I would be like, fuck this, I'd rather do something else.
Beatty,
Simple as that.
that's unfortunately, that's where I feel like I'm at right now. I don't like the slow. I've said it publicly. I don't like the slow rep, you know, Nick Walker style. It's just not a style of training that I personally enjoy. But, you know, I want to get better, right? My system has not been working. So for like my back, for example, so I've switched to doing things that way, and I'm like, okay, this better work, and because I can't see myself doing that long term. You know what I mean? Like I don't enjoy training that way, and it kind of sucks the fun out of it. Like, yeah, if I improve, I do, but at what cost? Like, I'm not having fun in my training. That's why we all do this in the first place. So I'm just ranting. I'm not trying to say anything. I just don't have
No, look.
Do you think it's been helping?
Huh?
Do you think this has been helping your back grow so far?
Tremendously. Yeah,
Good.
tremendously.
Okay, good.
My back, if you saw my back from North Americans till my last check-ins that I posted, it's night and day difference. Like,
Good.
it's helping tremendously, but I don't see myself training like this long term. You know, like, I don't want to train like this for the rest of my life. Like, I don't enjoy it.
So one thing I want to touch on based on what Ken's saying is because same thing here. There's ways that I made my training work for me with principles using other styles, if that makes sense. So let's just say, for example, one of the best ways, and it doesn't work every time, but when I throw it in there from time to time, it'll work, right? Say I am in the mood to do all this because it's one of Ken's favorite movements, heavy barbell rows. All right. One thing I'll do to incorporate my style while getting the most benefit out of it is, say, for example, I'll set my training up with a cable pullover because that constant tension and the pulley itself is very direct. It's isolated. It rushes blood right away. I'm not using that movement for growth. I'm using it for blood flow, to stimulus and connection. And then I'll go over to a cable row, carrying that connection over, using a little precision and stuff, trying to be pretty with it. Not super pretty, but enough to keep the connection. And my third movement would be the barbell row. There's enough blood, enough connection. So when you do those explosive, fucking like fun, passionate reps, you're probably going to get more out of that than doing the precise from the very beginning, slow and controlled shit. Why? Because you're enjoying it, but you created enough stimulus and an atmosphere to be able to get the most out of each rep. So I find ways to utilize, I guess you could say, or blueprint the training to where it's going to give me the stimulus I need with the way I love to train. And that's how I'll structure it. And that's what I do. And I mean, on stage, you can see it. The training was fun. That's why I built the muscle, but it was also purposeful. So you get the job done while figuring out how the fuck can I make this where I love it, but I'm also doing what I need to do to make sure I'm progressing. Kind of thing.
Hey man, that's exactly what worked for me. So at first I basically tried what Ken said, right? So I'm like, okay, my back and leg training system is off. Let me change it. Started doing a lot slower reps, a lot, different exercises, and I'm like, it's cool. But then I ended up doing. It was so not fun to me. I ended up doing what Joe just said. I'm like, okay, let me start with a pullover. Let me do some pull downs, whatever, and get the activation going. Now I go barbell row, feels fucking great, and I connect with it. But I can still train kind of how I like to train. Same for legs. Instead of just going straight to squats, I'm like extensions, leg press. Now I got this connection, and I can clang and bang on squats and still feel that connection. And honestly, it's worked. It worked like really good for me as well. The super slow connecting thing, I just couldn't get into it, man. I felt it to a point, but honestly, what I'm doing now, I feel it even better. And my legs and back have come up a lot from last year, if I'm being honest.
I try to do both, honestly, man. When using machines, I try to be precise.
There you go. That works too.
And more when I'm doing free weights, I'm more loose. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like you can do both. You can do definitely both.
I think so.
And I feel hypocritical because if you see my training videos recently, I'm doing it that way, right? Because I want to be better, but I don't enjoy it. Like I really don't enjoy it, you know. So it bothers me. It bothers me a lot. So I don't know what the long-term solution would be. If my back's not improved, come New York Pro, fuck it, man. 4 plates.
Bang and bang.
Honestly, what I would do, bro, like, you know, like you guys are all open-minded, right? You're all bodybuilders, you want to get better. Try what I said. And then, you know, like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it keeps the love for training alive, it's only going to make you better. Like one thing I took away from Ken, this is way early on, is he told me, Joe, instead of doing squats after leg extension, do leg press and then squats. My leg training amplified. My lower back was good. I got the most out of my squats. And to be honest, I didn't even have to go as heavy. I know 6 plates is heavy, but it was more so I was actually able to feel that better than my lower back get crazy pumped. And then I try to do leg press. Now I'm getting less out of leg press. So that little change up changed everything, and leg days were amazing. But I got what I needed out of it. And then my legs showed on stage. They fucking blew up from the USA. So it's just finding what works for you, man, and how to enjoy it.
Appreciate y'all.
Even that back training y'all do, it's like my style of training. We clanging and banging, you know. The form is like a 8 out of 10, 7.5, 8 out of 10. That's where I like it, right? But they were using machines, so it's like you can't cheat the machine. Your fucking chest is, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're clanging and banging, but you really can't cheat anyways. So it was a perfect medium that we get to clank and bang heavyweight, but we're using all back because there's nowhere to go. We're doing chest supported T-bar. We're doing that weird row machine thing. We're doing seated rows. So that's a great workout to me. And then I started doing more of that, actually. I've been doing less of the deadlifts, less of the barbell rows. I still do it sometimes. But I think my back has improved quite a bit. So it's working.
Well, you could see it. You could see it.
Yeah.
And it was just about being open-minded, bro. And I never said, hey, stop doing your movements. It says, look, start incorporating these. And then once you get some of that done, get to the shit you love. And then you're probably going to feel it better anyway.
Exactly. You know, same for
and
legs.
One thing, I won't move like a robot. If you ever watch my training videos, I never train like a fucking robot. I can't. The body is meant to move in a natural way. So I'm not going to be doing a fucking curl like this, you know? I'm going to put it in the...
You know, but I don't feel it anymore. If anything, I feel it less. I've been trying it with calves, and I feel like my calves got smaller. I've been doing a super robotic reps for calves. I'm like, yo, bro, what the fuck? I'm not even getting a pump. Get the fuck this shit, bro. So I went back to how I train calves, and honestly, I feel like it actually. Listen, I'm never gonna have world class calves, so let's get out the fucking way. It ain't gonna happen. I ain't gonna have Z calves, but it was actually looking better when I was training. Oh yeah, it don't really matter, but you know. So yeah, so now I'm back to I'm like, fuck this. It just don't. If it works for you, great. Some people love it. Janicki loves it. Nick Walker loves it, and I think it works great for them. I just don't feel that same connection and same. I just don't.
You know, one
like
thing
it.
I watched. This is fucking forever ago. It was on Fuad's podcast actually, and they talked about. Do you think you can? So like, we all come up one way of training, right? We're brought up. And I think our bodies almost adapt to that style. So when you ask us to do something completely different, it just fucking feels weird. It's unorthodox almost. So you got to find ways to like, to clean it up a little bit, but still train your way, which is what we're trying to do for Ken, right? So it's fucking weird though. Like once you've been brought up a certain way, it's damn near impossible to.
Funny you say that. Funny you say that. I was gonna say that in my leg video, and I'm pretty sure I forgot to say it because I felt like shit. But I think that's the reason that when I do the super slow shit, I don't get a good pump because my body is so used to heavy weights and pushing past failure that I'm trying to squeeze it, and the weight for my body is light. So my body is like, it's almost not recognizing it. It's like, bro, you usually do 4 plates. Now you're doing 2 plates and you're squeezing, but it's not enough weight that, you know, because your body got used to the 4 plates already. So it's like you said, the way you got into it is the way you keep the muscle. If all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to completely change it and then it's like I don't feel it anymore because my body like, wait, what's going on here, right? So sometimes the way you get into it, you have to keep that up to a point. If Branch all of a sudden started training like Ben Bukowski,
Or
maybe it doesn't work for him because his body's like, wait, this is not enough weight to stimulate me. So I literally can't even get the way Nick tells me I'm so pumped and stuff like that. I'll try it. I don't get pumped. My body doesn't pump up from that. I do the there's no pump. So,
mine's the opposite, right? So I told you guys before I was running 4 plates. I didn't feel anything in my back.
Okay.
Now I feel it. I feel it so good. The connection, the pump's crazy.
Okay.
But up here, I'm like, that was only 2 plates. Like, I'm not doing anything, like what are you doing? You should be stronger. Like, you're going to lose your strength. So it's up here that's messing with me, but I know that I'm getting a better connection and it's working. It's just, it's not fun, like, dude, you go to the gym and you're like this, you're coming down like this. It's like, I just want to move this weight, bro. I just want to move this weight. Like I grew up watching Ronnie and all these guys. Like, that's not what I'm used to.
Yeah.
So
even watching those videos, I can't get into it. You know how you watching bodybuilders train? I'm like, oh man, it's not doing it for me.
No,
I gotta watch. I gotta watch somebody train. That's why I'll still go back to Kevin Levrone every time. I'm like, attaboy. He working out here. But.
Or like that Ronnie one where he's doing the 4-plate row and you every time it comes up you just hear the bar like clanging, and he's just going. I'm like, nah, that's training, that's
training. I don't want to call no names, but I'll be watching a lot of top pros train some of these videos and I can't get into it. But I'm like, I'd rather watch them eat or something because I don't want to watch this training. And it works well for them because they're some of the best in the world. But I'm like, I just can't. It's not doing nothing for me. Honestly, like to the point that I'll put Sam Sulek on. I'll be like, Sam Sulek. I'm like, there we go. Oh, did I freeze for a second?
No.
Okay. It got to
He
the point
trains
that I'm
real
like,
hard. This guy, he trains really hard.
Low key, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather watch Sam Sulek train fucking back today. Boom. And I'm like, ooh, Sam clanging and banging this bitch.
You know who's actually like who's a top? Well, he's definitely going to be up there. Top level pro is who's really entertaining to watch. Every video, love to watch him. Is Brett Wilkin.
I was just gonna say that.
Brett.
I was just gonna say
my
that.
guy.
That's my guy, man.
I like.
He is
Brett.
the best combination of old school with a little new school touch, but it's
Brett.
but the passion,
he's like you, Joe. He trained like you and Paul.
Yeah, but you could tell he also trains by feel. He'll go heavy when he has to, but he'll taper back when he has to. But at the end of the day, you fucking feel the passion in the training. Like
100%.
Hunter's close, but he's a little too sciencey for me.
Yes,
very precise.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
Brett,
he goes hard.
See, he fucking just lifts with his fucking heart, and it's like,
it.
Bro, I love his videos. Him and then what's his name? What's his name? His training partner.
Martin.
Justin O'Donnell. No, Justin O'Donnell too.
Justin O'Donnell
he trains like that because they all train together. All three of them.
Yeah, I was because that question came up at some point before. It's like, present pro that you would love to train with. I wasn't on the pod, but I watched it. The first guy that came to my mind was Brett Wilkin. I would love to train with that guy. It looks so fun. It just looks so fun.
I sure will, bro. I will make that happen.
Brett, 100%. A matter of fact, let's get him on the pod, bro. Let's get him on the pod.
Yeah,
Martin would be a good one too.
Oh, yeah, Martin. That's why they train upon him. That's why they train upon us.
But my next pro show is not going to be till 2025. I don't think Ken was on when I said that, but I'm going to go to Florida that week because I can live with Justin pretty much for the time being. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get with Brett and Justin out there.
There's no trying.
Oh, and then
do it. You're gonna do it.
Martin. Yeah, Martin lives with Brett right now, right? So they're all going to be there. So I'm going to make it happen. So that's exciting.
I'm gonna get Brett on a pod, and y'all can connect from there, and we keep it going.
Yeah, have you had him on before? I think you had him on once, no? Or he was.
We had Martin, but we didn't get Brett. There was a couple times I was supposed to get Brett, but I was trying to give him his space with he was having a kid and the whole digestion
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
I didn't want to call him, but
yeah.
he's super
I'd love
cool.
to meet
It's
that
just
dude.
so funny how we all said the same guy. That
Brett
says
is
something.
man.
You know, that says
Brett is
something.
man.
Exactly.
That's what I like. It's like he's the top of the top bro scientist, right? He doesn't try to get too sciencey, but his bro science is level 10 out of 10, which is how me, Joe, and Paul are. Like we're using our brains, but we always lead with effort. It's a fine line. Always lead with effort because for that to me, like my perspective, that's where the gains are at, and that's where the fun is at. You know, Brett and Martin are a lot alike. Martin wears it more on his sleeve, but I feel like Brett has a crazy amount of dog in him, but he knows how to put on the mask. But Brett is a crazy motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like he'll be bleeding out the nose, drooling. He don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? When he's locked in, you know, he just knows how to preserve it. But he a crazy motherfucker. We all crazy. Don't get it wrong. I mean, we're calm and shit, but we all got a little crazy, and so we can relate to that, and it makes us like that. We see that dog in him. And we fucking like that. He'll give you 20 something reps, 5 plates, fucking about to throw up, hurling and shit. And I'm like, he'll go throw up like it's nothing, bro. You gotta respect that shit. You gotta respect.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, but that's the difference, bro. That's training with passion. That's going to get you farther than any fucking science spaceship possible.
Yeah.
100%. But I remember Martin talking about the first time he worked out with Branch. He could tell Branch was literally just testing his heart. It wasn't even about the training. He knew he was overtraining him, but he wanted to see what Martin was made of, and Martin wouldn't fucking quit. And then that's when you get that respect. Like he's willing to fucking pass out and leave on a fucking stretcher, you know. And that's where he was headed, you know. And he ate it. Like and I'm back. You know, I'm not scared of you, Branch. I'm not fucking scared of you. And then that's how you earn that respect, you know. I would love to train with Branch too, just to see if I could earn his respect, you know.
Yeah, you gotta wake up before noon. That's the fucking for sure.
Every single one of you guys lit up when we started talking about training, passion, and intensity, and that's why you're all here where you're at, bro.
Not drugs. We didn't get hype. Whoa, let's talk about fucking insulin. You know, like a lot of people think that's what it is. They think that we sit around and talk about drugs all day and take a bunch of drugs, but it's like, think about the people who are doing well and looking good. We fucking love to train, bro. We love it, you know. That's the difference, you know. And even if I have a new client and they're always talking about drugs, oh, I'm good on my training diet, just drugs. I'm like, if you were good on your training diet, you wouldn't even need me because you would already be where you need to be, you know. But you're not. You trust me, you're not good on that, you know. So that's what separates the boys from the men, bro.
Bro, there were so many times where I remember Beatty walking into Fit Nation, and he always was there on my leg days. And there wasn't one moment where I wasn't leaning on the machine or laying on the floor. Like that's where progress is made, man. Like, but that's the best part. You go home just defeated, like, and I can't wait to do this fucking shit again.
It's such a weird concept. As much as it hurts, you love it, bro. You love it. And sometimes I kind of want it to hurt more. You know, it's like I feel like shit, but then I'm training. Once I get into it, I'm like, this actually, I feel better because it hurts. It's like, okay, I felt like shit, but I know I can do it, and I'm not gonna fucking die, you know. So I'm like, fuck it, let me push harder, and I keep pushing harder. I'm like, okay, maybe that was a bit too much, but I would rather do that than the opposite, you know. And part of you loves it.
You ever had a workout where, because this happens once in a while, right? You have that workout and you come back home and you don't feel like you're tired or sore, and that shit bothers me, bro. That shit. Like, it's like, man, maybe I should go back. You know, maybe I didn't do this thing properly. I need to go back and get it done again.
Get some more done,
Get some more, yeah. So it's like you guys said, training is number one for all of us. That's why we all love it. You know, that's what I enjoy. I always say this: the drugs is just a means to an end. Me personally, it's just we all have to do it. You know, it's just a means to an end. But the training, that's where the fun is at. That's where the fun is.
Bro, I mean, I think we all started taking because it's at a certain point, you're like, fuck, I can only push so hard, right? And I'm not recovering.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, you mean to tell me if I start taking this, I can train harder and longer and for more like and recover and be able to do it again as soon as possible, count me in.
You gotta do it. Yo, I'm pretty sure this video is actually on YouTube, right? It was back in Brooklyn. I was probably like 22 years old, and I was training legs. I wanted to see what I could do with 4 plates. I did 4 plates for like 25 reps. When I was done, I was out. I got back up, and I couldn't do anything. My legs was just jello. I couldn't even do 1 plate. So I was like, fuck it. I went home, and like Ken said, it was bothering me. I'm like, I didn't fucking finish leg day. What kind of bitch am I? Like, what this bitch shit? And I went back that night. It was a 24-hour gym in Brooklyn. I went back. They're like, yo, you back? The trainer's like, you back? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do legs again. And I hit legs again. You know, I don't know which half of the workout I filmed, but I did it anyways. I'm like, fuck it.
You gotta repost that, man. I want to see it.
Yeah, that was Beatty in Brooklyn, right? And it's like it's a level of crazy that actually held me back. But you know what? I kind of like that.
That Brooklyn Beatty, it was different. Legit because that row video you posted where you guys were in some dungeon ass gym, you were rowing 4 plates, and everyone was just
I seen that, yeah.
That's the Beatty I know, you know.
That shit was so fun. That shit was so. But we never felt like we was doing anything different because that's all we knew. Like because Larry was at that gym in the Powerhouse and in the Astro Fitness, and Larry didn't even realize he was one of the strongest people in the world because it was just Kevin Oak was there, Kai would be there sometimes. He was just like training, and that's how we all felt until you start going to other gyms. They were like, oh, motherfuckers think we're crazy because they never seen that before. It was just another day for us. There'll be a 17-year-old benching 5 plates, no problem. So it's like we just thought this was normal. Like you wouldn't even walk into this gym if you wasn't built like that. You know, it was just another day. So we just loved it, bro. They bought 215-pound dumbbells just for Larry, and he was. I mean, we did like rows with it, but Larry was pressing it, bro, shoulder pressing it. You know, he was. Like when I say like Brett puts that face on, Larry puts the face on. Larry was a crazy motherfucker. He puts that face on and he's professional. But deep down, that motherfucker's sick, bro. He's sick, you know. The shit he would do, it just didn't make any sense, you know. Fucking, he thought he was bleeding from his forehead and shit. Like, what just popped? What popped on your head that you're bleeding from your forehead? Something. I don't give a fuck. We just working, bro. You know. So that was so much fun. But same with Larry, he had to actually pull back to get stronger and break records because you go in the gym and you hit a PR every day. At some point, your body's gonna be like, on meet day, he couldn't deliver because like, bro, you just wrecked your body for 3 months. How are you gonna? So same with me on show day. Where's the physique that was there 4 weeks out? I wrecked it, motherfucker. I fucked it up. I don't know what the fuck. So, but I would rather that because look where Larry got. You know, eventually that mindset will get you there once you have the good guidance. Don't coach yourself. That's why I can't coach myself. Larry, don't coach yourself. So if you have that level of like discipline or like dogging you, don't coach yourself. Just use that. Let them tell you what to do, and then aim that craziness there. Because if you leave yourself to your own craziness, you're gonna fuck it up. You're gonna fuck it up.
All right. Now you know I'm gonna kind of touch back on the foundation of how this conversation even started. And I'm going to use someone as an example because I've been following him and he looks fucking incredible. The passion and all that, right? The training hard, the just fucking balls to the wall. That is amazing for growth and, you know, just like taking it there and getting the most out of yourself, right? Getting exhausted. Now, going back to how I told Beatty how that mind frame has to shift at a certain point in prep. And now you got to start thinking to yourself, about being smarter, right, with your approach. So Jordan Hutchinson, you guys saw him fuck up his back. I messaged him, right, and I told him not to dwell on it because that shit does suck and that close is scary. But I said it sucks because I can't give you shit for it because we all get caught up in that because we're training with passion, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I started bringing this up to Beatty because I seen Jordan, you know. And I'm like, you can do other things and get more out of it.
For sure.
Than, you know, doing the dangerous shit and getting caught in that moment. And it's hard to fucking not take it there, bro. That's how we got here. But that's where you guys need, or where you, Beatty in particular, because you're so close right now, where you need to start making that shift. Like now it's like you
Exactly.
got to eliminate some of that passion and emotion and really think about precision and what matters at this point in the game right now.
Speaking of Jordan, he's been training with Barrow, and Barrow is one of them crazy motherfuckers as well,
Bro, he's strong as fuck.
Holy
crazy.
But now here's what separates him. He knows when to pull back. Like in prep, you notice, right? The closer he gets, I'm like, it makes sense because it's like he does some wild. I've seen him pull. He had to maybe like close to 800 pounds deadlift.
Yeah,
which is like there's not many people who can do that, right? 200-pound dumbbells, bro. He makes it look like hundreds, you know. But you ain't gonna catch him doing that 4 weeks out. You know what I'm saying? So he knows when to make the shifts. He knows how to point his craziness in the right direction, and that's very important. You know, I mean, Joe does that too. You know, I didn't see Joe shoulder press in 5 plates 4 weeks out. You know, it's like you got to know when to be crazy.
I think 6 weeks out for me this year was literally the last week that I was doing the cool heavy shit. Like I think I got 4 plates on incline 6 weeks out for 19 reps, and literally that was the last cool shit I did. After that, all fucking precise and trying to be smarter and shit because that the body didn't feel the same. There was a shift, and I'm like, okay, I got to listen, but I'm gonna train as hard as possible, just smarter.
Oh, he literally did 800 pounds.
which 800 solid ass pounds.
Yo, that's wild, bro. You know how 800 pounds, what that feels like? That's 8, a quarter, a 10, a 5, a 2, a 1. That's a lot of fucking. That's crazy, bro.
People don't give Barrow props for his strength. The guy is strong as a house.
Oh, you see that picture right there? The one you're on in the middle. I saw that picture. I sent it to Paul.
I like that.
I was like, yo, dog, that's like looking into a multiverse, bro. That's like me and you, Paul.
Yo, what? But you know what? I feel like they're rubbing off of each other in the best ways. Because Jordan is super smart and precise. Barrow is an animal. And then I see Jordan getting more animal and him getting more precise. And I think they both needed that. You're right. Mm-hmm. They balance each other out well. They started to look alike now.
Bro, it happens.
It does have. Yo, I was talking about that with Jacoby. I was like, I can tell you and Matt are close because I remember from when I had Matt on the podcast, their cadence is the same. They have the same speaking cadence. You look at Jay Cutler and Chris Aceto, they speak exactly alike. They have different voices. The same cadence, right? The other day, Joe was imitating Compton, and he sounded exactly like Compton. I was like, I don't even know how he did that. I don't know how he did that shit. I was like, bro, you sound exactly like Compton. So you start to rub off of each other sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
I'll
never forget the first time Justin came down. The very first time he came down to see Paul. I think Paul was literally like 3 weeks out from a show or something, and we were counting for Paul's posing rounds, and I literally started developing an accent within that counting cadence, and I caught on to it, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
It's weird, bro. It's weird. You see shit like that start to happen pretty often. I remember even Dallas and Matt. I'm like, yo, you guys, they starting to sound like, what the fuck is going on here? It's weird. But listen to Jay and Chris Aceto talk. I'm like, they became the same person. I'm like, why do you sound like the same person? They both got that nasally voice now. I'm like, Jay didn't have that nasally voice before. What's going on, bro?
You're so right. I didn't even think of that. You're so right.
It's weird. Well, I guess
Paul the other day was like, hey, Joe, this offseason we need to get you your forearm tattoo.
Yeah. So I start getting tatted up, bro.
I plan on getting one right here. Just as long as I'm a bodybuilder, I'll never get more than just this arm halfway. Kind of like Nick has it or Chris Bumstead. I've always told myself I'll never fuck with anything else. But I may have a tattoo by my next show.
If you're super light skinned, you got to be careful. Like Tonio gets away with it, right? He's darker, obviously. Mm-hmm. People don't even know I have tattoos. That's how dark I am. My whole shit is tatted up, and you can't even tell. You know
what sucks for Paul, right? So say like he does a side chest. Mm-hmm. When I do it, you can see all these little fibers, with Paul, you have to fucking get real up close and see it. He's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
as like lean, but he doesn't look like it. And the tattoos
Yeah.
really take away a lot of lines. So,
I
like you
agree.
said, unless you're like Tonio, bro, or even you, Beatty, like it completely washes it out.
You can also if you have some guys get their left sleeve and then they pose with their right side, right? That works too. Who I was just looking at somebody. What's the guy? He's doing Chicago as well. What's the guy? He did nationals. He looked like Luke Sandow in physique.
I know who you're
Ryan?
talking about. I know who you're talking about. I just don't know his name.
Is it Ryan? Is that his name? Ryan?
What nationals? This last year's nationals?
Ryan
No, a couple.
Foster.
Ryan Foster. Ryan Foster.
Oh,
He has one side of his body has a sleeve, right? And then he poses with the other arm, something like that. You know,
He looks
Trevor.
good too, by the way.
Oh, he looks really good. Trevor Birch got half sleeves, but the forearms, they don't judge forearms. The
that's
forearms
why.
and calves. Nick got it back here, but Trevor, I think he had the entire forearm. But honestly, I didn't notice it on stage
I didn't
because
even know Trevor had tattoos till you just said it. I
you
didn't
see,
even know. Yeah.
as long as it's not in this area, because I think Wyatt had the chest and shoulder one, or Stu had the shoulder one. You don't really think of, you don't notice it. It has to cover, like, if it covers your chest, I think you'll notice it, right? Or your back.
I
Don't
think
get a
it
back.
has to like cover a certain surface for it
The
to
inserts.
actually make some effect. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, even though I'm dark skinned, and even though Tonio's dark skinned, the placement is properly done. It doesn't cover any separation. Like, it's done in the insert. So I wouldn't cover the lines, if that makes sense, right? So I'll make sure not to cover any lines. So or like blotchy tribal tattoos, like the way Paul got or Bonac got. You see the tribals, even though Bonac is dark, because it's really thick. So if you're bodybuilder, don't do any thick tribal lines. I think that'll take away. You know.
You know, it's ironic if you do it right, it could somewhat like complement your physique,
Yeah.
but you have
Like
to
Piana.
be strategic with it. Yeah, it was like a little too extremely fucking contoured, but like
he did
you're smart.
he did that to look bigger.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, so you do have to be careful with that. Trevor had even back here.
Never even noticed.
he had
See,
both.
I never even noticed.
I think he put something on it. He had that way because it looks like faded. He probably covered it with something. But yeah, you wouldn't really notice like that.
Hey, how
Wyatt-
tall is Trevor?
Not very tall.
Because I saw him in the raw picture, and I was like,
5'6".
damn, those people are all fucking huge, or he's actually kind of short.
Yeah,
Let me
he's
see
a lot
why.
heavy. He's a lot heavy. He's not that
Yeah.
tall. I'm not
He's
that
wide.
tall.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, Wyatt has a chest piece and a forearm piece. But I'm assuming he poses. No, he poses on the. I never noticed that. Funny, right?
He's just so
chest-
big, it doesn't matter.
Well, he's also so
Hey,
striated
do you
on
notice
stage.
that? Wait, go up, go back to that picture right there to the left. Yeah,
This one?
it's on it. Yeah. So his leg's still fucked up, huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
But you know what? When your legs are that big, man, I feel like it doesn't take away too much. Like Branch, when Branch had the leg issue, I'm like, I see it, but it doesn't really bother me at all. You know,
If
like
you're really
Bird
good at
Elsa's
posing,
really good. He's got
if
like
you're really good
really
at posing,
Bird
you
Elsa.
can you can hide it pretty well.
Hottie didn't even try to hide it, but honestly, Hottie's legs are so good. When your legs are that big, man, I got to be honest. Like even with Jay, it didn't bother me. I'm like, yeah, one is bigger, but I don't really care. You know?
I mean, Hottie's leg. Did anyone ever notice till it was actually pointed out?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
I didn't notice
no.
shit. I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
notice fucking Justin, and I would have never known unless other Justin told me.
You know what? Don't mention it. If you have an injury, I'm gonna go delete my YouTube video talking about my knee. Don't even mention it.
To be honest, because then it's like, well, people are gonna look for it.
Everybody's gonna look for it. Remember, Hunter had that chest tear or shoulder tear
Chest pep,
before
yeah.
nationals, and nobody knew. And then he said it, and then everybody talks about it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, you won nationals. We didn't even know you had. Oh, I didn't train upper body for weeks. Well, I couldn't tell until he started training that bitch, and then we saw him blow the fuck up. You know, oh well, like it makes sense because he was like leg dominant I don't think he's leg dominant anymore. I think Hunter's just big everywhere.
Hunter's perfectly balanced, bro.
I agree.
Like, honestly, I look at Hunter's physique, and he's one of those physiques that I really fucking like. Like, I like my own. I don't want to look like anybody else, but he's pretty damn close to something I would want to look like.
Have you guys seen him in person?
Yeah,
No,
seen
and
him in
that's
person.
I was talking to Paul about that. Yeah,
Very
that's
much,
what I was. I've always heard that he looks big on this, but it's like he's huge in person.
So
It's almost like
Sip,
him
huh? What you want to
and
say, Stu?
Martin are playing the same game. Like they're both perfectly symmetrical, but
I agree.
he's just way bigger. He's a massive guy.
So a couple of things, right? Me just watching online before I saw him for the first time was at the Jay Cutler show, the one Josie did that me and Compton went to, and I thought Hunter was like 5'8", maybe. He's like my height, bro. That's scary. Think about that. Look how he's built like a short guy. He's built like he's 5'6", but he's legit like 5'10" and a half. I don't know why he claims, but he looked pretty much my height. So in my head, I'm like, imagine being built like that and being as tall as me. That's insane. So he looked huge, bro. Like legit huge, like monster huge. Listen, Brett is huge. Martin is huge. All these guys are huge. Hunter is way bigger, if I'm being honest. But that brings me to what some Joe brought up. I think if you would have asked last year who would win, Hunter or Martin, everybody would say Hunter. But this year, after the way he pushed Nick, I don't know if everybody would say that. I think it would be like down the middle. Hunter is
I'm
definitely.
going to be honest. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say Hunter is definitely a bigger man and more muscular. But Martin's so bubbly that honestly, he doesn't need to be as big as you. And his shape is prettier. And Hunter was peeled at Tampa, but Marty peeled is a whole different level of peeled. So at this point, I'll let you guys answer first. But at this point, I don't, it's going to be tough.
Joe go first and I'll go.
Okay, so I'm going to use myself again as an example because it's very prevalent right now, or recent. I put on 19 pounds of stage weight and all that new muscle tissue, it stuck. And that was fucking incredible that I got it to stick. But it didn't have a certain level of detail to it. Hunter has built himself up to 200 or 300 pounds, and he's got a new back, right? Brand new back. He's added some tissue in certain places. Now, with new tissue comes new lines that need to develop, which take time to get. Martin hasn't really progressed in size. He's progressed in detail, and he's just stayed super symmetrical. And I think, when it comes to checking off boxes, right? I think Martin may actually be able to pull it out because he has a little bit of everything coming down to even detail that Hunter just needs a little more time to get to where he'll be back on top if Martin doesn't improve, right? So I think he could literally edge him out because if Nick was that close to him, then
exactly.
I mean, shit, statistically, right?
Well, speaking about, I'm sorry, Ken, but one. I was speaking about size, right? Okay, is he bigger than Martin? Yeah, but Hunter is also bigger than Derek and Hadi, right? So it's not like size all of a sudden is gonna make you beat somebody if they have everything else, But yeah, go ahead, Ken. My bad.
Yeah, I've said this before with the Martin thing. Bodybuilding, I feel like we're like goldfish. When someone comes out, Martin is great and he's a top 10 Olympian. But when he's put in an Olympia lineup, so Hunter versus Martin depends completely, in my opinion, on Hunter's condition.
Boom,
That's what I'm saying.
If Hunter is peeled,
he
wins.
I agree.
But if his conditioning cannot match, then he'll lose. It's as simple as that because he has the exact same strengths that Martin has. Nick versus Martin is very different where Nick has weaknesses that are Martin's strengths.
I agree.
So it's very different. But Hunter and Martin, the same strengths, but he's bigger. So the only way would be for Martin to pretty much out-condition him. and he'll
I agree.
win at that. That's what I think.
Now that you say it, they almost have the same physique. If I'm being completely
Yes.
honest,
It's very similar.
yeah. It just so happens Martin has a lot more detail right now. Tampa Hunter was very close, but the detail in Martin's glutes and hams, honestly, bro, I don't know if anybody besides Derek has that at this point. So if we're judging by track record, Martin is gonna be more shredded than him, right?
Yeah.
But Hunter also unlocked the new level of condition last year that we didn't think he was capable of. If he does that again, he beats Martin. Just the chances of him actually out conditioning Martin, who's probably the top 3 most peeled guys right now, is pretty low. So, but it doesn't mean he can't beat him because maybe he doesn't have to be as peeled if he's close enough. He's a lot bigger, man, a lot bigger. So how does that look like? We don't know. Yes, is Nick a lot bigger than Martin? Yes, but he's also shorter, and like you said, he has some weaknesses that are Martin's strength, which would be his waist, right? So that creates a different dynamic. Just because it's close between them doesn't mean that all of a sudden nobody else can beat him, right? It's still possible for him to be very close to Nick at this show and still lose to Hunter.
People don't realize, Hunter versus Andrew at Texas, it was not a size competition. Usually with Andrew and everyone else, it's a size competition, right? Like, it wasn't. They were pretty much, in fact, you could say that Hunter was bigger than Andrew.
I think Texas. So. Like filling out his physique wise.
Yeah, he was completely bigger. So I feel like Hunter is one of those guys that there's not many guys in the league right now that can outsize him. You're going to beat him on condition. And I know Hunter, I don't know if it's been fixed, but when Hunter poses, he loses a lot of water, right? When he poses. So he does start to, sweat a lot. So it's those little nuances at that level. Everyone's close. I think, who was it that said it? Steve said it best. At that level, everyone is so close. You're not going to wash a guy, going 1v1. So it's those little nuances that I think could put it in Martin's favor. But same condition, I think because of the size, he could beat Martin.
Yeah, well, Hunter literally only lost to Andrew because he started losing his stomach. When he came out, his waist was like at 8.5 out of 10. By the end, it was down to like a 6, because he was even pulling I don't like how a full vacuum looks on him, but like a semi-vacuum looked good. He was pulling like a semi-vacuum, but toward the end, he was literally like panting.
And puffing.
It didn't look good. Bro, what's his name? Andrew, fuck panting. His abs don't even move. The shit was like, boom, cement. He didn't even, he wasn't breathing through his chest or back. You know how they say breathe through your back? The man wasn't even breathing. He might have well been holding his breath the whole time. He didn't budge, bro. That's a fucking athlete, bro. Yeah. Andrew, I didn't see one drop of sweat, nothing. Perfect smile, perfect pose. He don't shake. The guy, he has that little front double. He's like a robot. He don't move, and it's gonna be hard to beat that if you're huffing and puffing, bro.
Bro,
so he didn't even.
One thing I want to bring up, since I got to see it in person, like I told you, I was right behind everybody. Well, just even the top 5 guys, it really surprised me, right? Because obviously, don't get me wrong, they posed them quite a bit actually at the Cal, but I don't think a lot of these guys pose or take it as serious as I would have thought, because there was a lot of shaking, there was crazy amounts of sweat on stage and stuff,
100%.
and you could just like when they turn around, like I said, people are watching, right? I'm one of those people. I would say fucking 90% of those guys' guts are just fucking out because they're trying to obviously get their breath back to go to the next thing. And so for you guys, coming up, just like myself, I've always taken posing serious because I never wanted to lose for that reason. But that should really kind of when you take advantage of it, because it's something I saw in person. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I was that close to these pros, right? So I'm like, damn, dude, I really think the posing can take you farther than you would imagine, just because you can hold it longer.
Hey, by far, you and Paul had the best posing. Not as far as who who looks like pretty posing or who's like
Mhm.
gracing the stage. Like I'm talking about like from a hottie level. Like no wasted movement, no shaking, no sweating, tan, everything was perfect. You guys hit that shit like militant. And once I saw that, I was like, I gotta work on my fucking mandatories because I pose pretty. People say, well, you're a good poser. I'm actually not a good poser when it comes to mandatory. Like in comparison to that, right? You guys hit it by far. Even the timing. Some people were posing super slow, like like individually. Like I'm like, okay, move a little faster, bro. You were taking too long. Some people rushing it, fucking fat. You guys, perfect timing. You can tell you guys practice it day in, day out. It was very evident, right?
And we did another thing we did for anybody like getting ready for shows and stuff. So I always tell people my mark, right, to start posing, and I can put my trunks on. Keep in mind, I do get a little fat. I won't anymore, but that's actually not the plan this time around.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, around 8 weeks out, typically on the dot, we'll start posing, and we'll start with 2 rounds, 1 hold, 1 routine. When I say hold, it's 10-second holds, and we progress that just like you do with your training and all that, right? But we get closer, we're doing more rounds, more holds, and we took that very serious, and we always posed at our most exhausted. Even if it was a hard-ass leg day or 4 weeks out or whatever, when you're really feeling like shit, your legs are hard to stand on, we're posing after that session. Literally, last set, go to the bathroom, put your trunks on. I'll go first, then Paul. And doing rounds like that, you are more than ready to pose on a stage. Because, I mean, the way I've always been brought up is if you practice harder than the game, then the game's easy, right?
Yeah.
So, like when you see that, like Beatty said, it was just preparation, like making something more difficult so that when you actually do the task at hand, it's a breeze. And that's pretty much why Andrew beat Hunter, because you guys talked about what's his name, Psycho did for Andrew. So he wanted to make damn sure that wasn't going to be a problem.
100%.
So
100%.
take advantage, bro. That'll edge you out.
Other than y'all, I thought Tonio's posing, his execution of the poses weren't the best, but the effortlessness. I don't even know if he flexes. I think he only flexes the most. I think he's so bubbly. It looked like he was literally just going like this. That's how effortless it looked. But he might not have to flex. He's so bubbly. But yeah, he didn't execute the side poses the best. But he was not breathing. He was not shaking. The stamina part, perfect. I think he could execute some of the poses to look even more impressive, though. Possibly. But yeah, you guys, execution, everything was perfect.
I think also, I think we talked about this at FNP maybe that Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I think people pose too hard when not necessary. So, like, for example, you're
way too much.
The only poses you're ever supposed to squeeze the life out of yourself is the most muscular, and that's at the very end, right?
That's it.
In the pump up process, you're filling your muscles up. You're getting you're using that glycogen, you're getting the pump, using the salt, right? All that stuff. The only thing you really need to worry about squeezing hard the whole fucking time is your legs. So those will naturally come out as you're like practicing your poses backstage as well as on stage. But a lot of these guys, right? Like, especially on the fucking back poses, they're
weird, right?
As hard as possible, and they start shaking, right? They start almost like, what is it like? Was it just super shaky? And I'm like,
why?
You're not going to get any better. You're just going to lose oxygen, start shaking, and start sweating. And I don't know why they do that. I don't know if they think it's going to make it look better. But I'm telling you, the only one, like you said, that didn't do that was Tonio.
Exactly. Okay, you're watching Wolski sweat, and why is he sweating so hard? Okay, he's holding water, sure, but he's posing way too fucking hard, bro. Do you guys fucking drip sweat that much to one round? Like, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Because do you think you look better in a back double because you're doing this? Like, no, you don't look better doing that. You look exactly the same. We can't even tell besides seeing you shaking, right? How hard can you squeeze your fucking lat? You're not even flexing your lat.
That's what I'm saying. Say you got blood pump from the pump up, right? Yeah. There is literally zero difference from this to this. Like, Zero difference. You just
Yeah,
start
yeah.
shaking. You start getting exhausted. And
Literally.
I was just like, again, at a pro level, right? I'm a rookie. I don't know everything, but I would think they would know that already, kind of thing. And that kind of surprised me.
You would be shocked at what some top people in their sports don't know or don't think about. And you're like, how could this happen? You remember Kai on the back lat spread, and he would be doing like a front lat spread, and you'd be like, how are you second in the world? And you didn't even think about that. You would think somebody in the corner would be like, maybe don't arch your back so high on a back lat spread. But nobody thought about it. Like you would think somebody, a coach, friend would be like, maybe round your back a little more and don't do that. But you'll be surprised. Sometimes you can be so good that you don't even have to do the right things, right? It's just that fucking good. You're like, fuck it, who cares? And some people don't listen. That's why some of these coaches are like, I don't want to work with top pros because they think they know everything, right? So they're like, they're not gonna listen anyway. So it's like, I don't know. You would think you would pick something up, but sometimes they don't, bro. Sometimes they don't.
And look, bro, I'm saying this the humble way too. Those guys place ahead of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But say they run into that situation with Hunter and Andrew. Say they were squeezing hard the whole time. Andrew's lasting. Now these guys are sweating. They can't breathe. Guts are out. This advice right here would help them win.
Exactly.
It's not that I'm saying I know better than them, but at the same time, I'm like, I can recognize some shit, and I know it's going to benefit.
Well, you actually do know better than them in that particular category, right? Somebody can beat you in a show, and you can still be a better poser than them, right? You know what I'm saying? So two things can be true. I saw Keon was working out with Brett and Hunter, and they kept showing him like cues. In my head, I'm like, he's the only Olympia champion within these three, but they keep teaching him shit. But the truth is that when it comes to training, they are smarter, right? So it's like, but Keon is also humble enough that he's not cocky about it. He's trying to learn. He's like, oh yeah, what do you think? Okay, do that. Okay, cool. But that, genetically, Keon is better than them. It is what it is. That's okay. It doesn't mean that he can't learn from them as well, right? So that, I think that's something we have to check our egos and be like, it doesn't matter if I could be top 5 in the world and still learn from somebody who's an amateur, right? It's not. It doesn't work that way, So that's important, All right. Oh, look at Hani. Fucking Hani allegedly competed. We still haven't seen any pictures, But Hani knows best. I'm listening to Hani. I don't give a fuck. He don't have to. I'm pictures or not. I'm listening to Hani. If he has something to say, so that kind of tells me.
Well, what's funny is like, okay, say Hani never even fucking competed, right? Say he didn't. The things that I can see with my eyes, right? What I'm watching these guys get exhausted, right? But then look at the winner. Tonio wasn't sweating. He wasn't shaking. Gut never came out. What did he do different? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I can see how this will carry you farther. So I'm going to do it like that kind of thing. So
Exactly. And I used to hate when people always say, oh, Hani works with people that anybody can work with. I'm like, yeah, how did Phil look before Hani, and how did he look after him? How did Derek look? You know what I'm saying? Chris, even Ian, his former coach, admits that Chris looked way better when he got with Hani than he did with me. Okay, he was already Mr. Olympia, but look at the improvements, right? It's not as easy as y'all think it is. Derek always had Derek genetics. Bro, he got 5th place or 4th place like a year before he got with Hani in the 212. Yet he won the Open. Just think about how much sense does that make. 4th in 212, number 1 in Open. So you can't just say, well, anybody could do that. Well, they didn't. They didn't do it. That's why he got with Hani, right? Because they didn't do it. So I don't believe that. And then why did Hani even have a reputation? Because he turned like 200 people fucking pro back before most of you guys were even watching the sport. Y'all don't remember that. He didn't just wake up one day like, hey, Phil, come work with me. No, these people searched him out because he was turning people pro left and right. Not just top guys, the average Joe he was turning pro. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people didn't see that part of the journey. They only saw the part where he's motherfucker's rich. He don't have time to be coaching local shows, bro. You think he don't have that kind of time?
He doesn't use that nickname anymore, the Procreator. That used to be his nickname. Now he's just the Olympia coach, you know. But
he let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still, well, now he's more mainstream, so I still see some of the comments. Some of these people, they just don't know him. They're like 22 years old. Like, oh, this guy looks chubby. Like, how does he train these people? First of all, who the fuck are you, motherfucker? Like, who are you? You know, and it's like, it's not. He's what, a 50-year-old father. Like, he has no goal of looking like Bumstead, and he's not even saying he could look like him, even if he did, because he don't have the genetics. It's okay. You don't have to have the genetics. He has this, and that's all that matters. You're not looking for your. We happen to have Compton, who actually looks like crazy, but I don't care how Compton looks. You think I care if Compton was fat? Go get fat, Compton. We don't give a fuck. You know, we need Compton for this. We don't need him to be bigger than us. That's irrelevant. You know. So, anyways, all right. Let's do a couple of questions.
I was gonna say, man, every time Justin comes down, like, I am literally just like, whenever he makes a decision or he's talking to Paul, bro, I'm so zoned in on what the hell this man says. Because in my head, like, so say a scenario comes up and I'm listening what he's telling Paul to do. I'm trying to see if it's going to match up what I would do to Paul. And it's like, bro, those are the moments where I'm like, damn, this is just like fucking free game right here. Like learning what the fuck he's doing, why he's doing it. It's the best when he comes down, bro. It's cool.
You guys ever have a moment by yourself where, for me, when I'm at home and I smoke before my last meal, I have a moment to kind of conceptualize shit. Like with Joe, just think about like 3 years ago, you were just another guy working out in the gym, right? And then now think about your peers. Think about the people who DM you. Think about the people who like your pictures. Think about the people you're conversing with that's like nothing, that you legit were fucking looking up to like a couple years ago. In the moment, it's hard to like, okay, Ken just did the thing with Evan. You're doing a seminar with Evan Centopani, bro. That's the guy you used to watch him like, oh, wow, look at Evan. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You were just a guy like, oh, go Evan in the crowd. And now, it's crazy to think about.
That exact same thing to him. Like I when I came back home yesterday and I put it in my post today, it was like, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, for me, like, yeah, it's cool. I did the seminar and everything, but for me individually, the fact that I was even sitting on a panel with him and conducting the seminar is so big. Like, I still haven't even been able to grasp it internally. I had photos, I had ripped out magazine covers, of Evan on my wall back in the day, and I'm sitting there with him. It's like, it's crazy,
It's hard to conceptualize. Like, Compton is my friend and my coach, but I'm like, I remember all these preps when I'm like 21, 22, watching fucking Raising Compton or his channel. And I'm like, oh, wow, he eating the fucking peanut butter and jelly. Wow, this guy's so cool, And then you turn around, okay, Zayd, I'm watching JTV, and then Jay is like, yo, what's up, Zayd? Hey, and Zayd like, yeah, chilling, bro. I'm like, this is like, that's Jay Cutler. And this is Zayd. Like, Zayd was like, wow, and now they're just boys. Right? But
that's a huge thing.
We can't even think about it in the moment. Let's say Lee Priest, right? Leaves a thumbs up or likes my pic. I'm like, motherfucker, that's the first bodybuilder I ever liked. I liked his pic when you couldn't even like it. It was a magazine. I'm like, I like this picture, Back when you couldn't even
thumbs up. The magazine when he was young.
I'm like, thumbs up, Lee Priest. And he didn't even know where the fuck I was in the world. I'm in the Bronx somewhere, a fucking 9-year-old or 10-year-old kid, right? And then he's liking my shit, like, wow, he looked pretty good. I'm like, me? You think so? Oh, what the fuck? But you can't conceptualize it in the moment because you're so like far gone and you're in the moment and you're just trying to be better. You can't even think back and be like, motherfucker knows who I am and even cares about me, right? Or like Joe, right? When Nick reaches out to you, bro, the fact that he's even reaching out to you to give you advice, right? How many people you think he reaches out to give advice like that? Maybe 10 people? Like out of the millions of people who follow him. So just think about that. He thinks you have that much potential and wants to help you to the point that, that he's taking time out of his day just cause, hey Joe, what's up? How you feeling? And we kind of get so used to it, we don't even think about it, but this is real shit.
a lot of the times, I mean, I'm sure you guys noticed with some of my stories, right? When I'd be sitting in my car, I'm either getting ready to do cardio or already did it. Like that's when those moments happen, and I really sit down and think about what the fuck's going on in my life. And it may seem like nothing, like you said, in the moment, but then when I really sit down and think about it, I'm like, holy shit, like how the fuck did I get here? Like I know how I got here, but for it
Still
to be
crazy.
the real thing, you know, nothing crazy has happened as far as like big sponsorships and shit, right? But it's more so the fact, like, bro, I had people come up to me at the show that I don't even know the fuck they were as fans, saying they followed me and stuff, and that I look crazy in person. I have people commenting on my shit like, I cannot wait to continue watching your journey. You motivate the hell out of me. You're one of my favorite bodybuilders right now. This, and that. I'm like, what the fuck? It seems like just yesterday I was fucking trying to get lean for the first time at 24-hour fitness, bro. Like
That's that's what I have a hard time wrapping my head around, right? Because I still see myself as that bodybuilder that's just in the grind. You know, we're still in the grind trying to make something out of it. But there are already people following your journey and you don't even realize it. It's like yesterday at the seminar, you know, people are coming up to me. A guy wanted me to sign, 2 people came up to me to sign their belts. I'm like, me? You want me to sign your belt?
You sure?
You know? Like you sure? Like, you know, it's like, it's crazy. But we're here, we're just trying to get our own journeys in place, right? We're just trying to get to that next, like we always say, there's that next step that we're trying to achieve, but we don't take a step back. Like even Joe, I always say that to you. I don't know if you saw it. I put it on the muscle contest before it happened. There are 2 Mr. USAs doing this competition. You've already made history being crazy, Mr. USA. You know what I mean? Like when you watch the Arnold and, you know, they show up the competitor list and you're like, oh, this guy turned pro at blah, blah, blah. This guy is 1998 Mr. USA or Mr. North America or North American Championships. It's already history. From here on out, you are Mr. USA 2023. You know? But you don't realize that. You don't realize that in this moment in time because you're just like, listen, I got to get to the next level.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So
bro,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Even fucking, I remember sitting down, I guess this is like a little over a year ago now, or no, it's 2 years ago now, I guess. Well, when Stu went up next to Hunter, right?
Yeah.
And then he got second place in New York. I remember watching Stu. I remember talking to Jay about Stu. Like, dude, I was like, I was supposed to go up against this guy, but I obviously decided to take the year off and go to the USA's next year. I said, but I really fucking like this guy's physique. And I was like, this guy, he's going to, like, if he stood next to Huntress, what he looks like, this and that, like, I became a fan of Stu. Then I come to find out, like, the very first podcast I ever did with Stu on it, like, bro, like, on some serious shit, it was like, I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. I get to fucking meet Stu, right? I didn't see him as a friend yet. I was a fan of the guy. And then fast forward last week, I'm talking to him on stage, you know? You got 10 next to each other. Now I see him as a friend. Somebody is like
a peer.
He's a peer, yeah. And I'm just like, I'm using Stu just because he's become like a true friend. You know, I talk to him all the time on the podcast and stuff. We message in the DMs or whatever. So it's a little closer than Nick. Nick's still like doing his thing, you know, but I hear from Nick from time to time. But Stu was the one that really stood out to me. I'm like, damn, I'm really like chilling with this dude, talking on the side. And like this last year, I was like, man, I'm a fan of this fucking guy. That was fucking crazy.
It's kind of strange, right? It's not imposter syndrome yet, but it's like right a level below imposter syndrome. It's a little bit strange. Probably for the last 3 years, I've been meeting people who know me and I don't know them. And I don't know at what point that becomes normal, but I don't think it does because I even see Compton's reaction. Like he doesn't think he doesn't understand it, right? I still see people come up to him like, what's up? And he's still kind of like, huh? Like, the person knows me. So, and I'm sure this has been happening to Compton for the last 10 years and he still can't conceptualize it. So I don't know if that I mean, obviously if you see Bum or Sam Solik, you're used to it at this point, right? You're not gonna. But for the most part, I think most of us, we still don't get it, right? This guy comes up, yo, what's the watch you guy though? I really want to meet Zayd. And I'm like, oh, Zayd is right there. And I could tell Zayd at first, if you're having a hard time conceptualizing the way, oh, this person knows, okay, before he gets warmed up. He kind of like, wait, do I know this person? He's like, oh, no, this person knows me.
I thought he was tapping the wrong guy.
He's like, Zaylo. And Zayd kind of like, huh. I feel like he's trying to remember, do I know the guy from the gym or something? But no, he just knows you, you know? So it's hard to get it. And you're like, oh, okay. But it happens every time. At no point has anybody ever tapped me and I'm like, oh, what's up, bro? Oh, what you want? You want an autograph? Okay, bro, I got you. It's impossible to think that way. You're just like, wait, who? Do I know you? And some people, they don't communicate it. They don't say it, right? So sometimes I would be like, who the fuck was that guy? Then I'm like, oh, okay, I think I know what just happened. You know, I definitely never seen that guy before. Okay, I think I know what happened. But some people, they don't explain it. They don't say, whoa, I watch you. They just, yo, what's up, baby? And you kind of like, and you're waiting. You're like, wait, I don't. And then after it takes you a while, you're like, okay, got it. I see what's going on.
Yeah, bro. A few times this prep, it was fucking funny. Like, a random guy would come up to us, like, different times, right? Different guy. To me and Paul, like, bro, this is tripping me the fuck out. I literally was watching you on the way here.
Yeah. Remember, Konevsky, I've been on Konevsky for what, 7-8 years. I think it wasn't until this year that he's comfortable with it and used to it. He's been doing social media for 10 years. He hit 1 million subs, by the way. You know,
which crazy to me, bro.
Which is wild.
How much did he get for his fitness channel? It wasn't that high, right?
Well, he was up to 500K. So he probably would have had, because the growth doubles, right? So he probably would have had like 2 million by now, which is crazy to think about. That means he went from 500K to 0. Now nobody wants to collab with you. People have to go find you again. So it's harder to get back up there. And he doubled it. That's work. Wow. That's work ethic, bro. You know.
Yeah.
But even
wild.
For years, Eric would be like, "Hey, what's up, Konevsky?" And you could tell he'd be like, "Wait, what?" Oh, okay. Now I can see him. He got the mode now. He got that J mode when it's like, "Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, man." Yeah. Like he gets it now. He got the cues. It's hard to get there, bro. You literally have to be like 1 million. I think I get to 1 million. If I'm at 1 million, like Janicki, hey, what's up, bro? He got it. He's ready to go, bro. I think you literally have to be legit, like 1 million followers to get used to it. Yeah. It's gonna be a long time. Mm-hmm.
I have a debate that I had with Jalissa the other day, and I was like, there's actually an argument here because I guess some young kid was telling her somewhere. I don't remember how it got brought up, but they said, oh no, she saw someone say it on Instagram. They said being an influencer is harder work than working a 9 to 5. Yeah. And she said, can you believe he said that, Joe? And I was like, well, Jay, I want you to think about something. I'm like, look, on camera, it looks a certain way. But I'm like, I just want you to think about how much work goes into one video of me and Paul that Andy does. This is our film guy. Mm-hmm. And I said, now, keep in mind, too, I only have, I think it's like a little under 500 subscribers on my YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't even run the YouTube. My camera guy does. Yeah. And I said, I was like, you're thinking of the established guy already. But I'm like, when it comes to the come up, the amount of hustle and work and consistency and self-motivation that it takes to be able to build your influence, I guess you want to call it, that's fucking hard. And I'm like, so I can't necessarily take away from someone that does this because I don't want to call myself an influencer, but in a way I'm trying to transition slowly into one, right? And it's taking some fucking time. And I'm like,
I know a guy personally, Luke Elsman. He's sponsored by Gymshark, all the big companies. He's an influencer through and through, and he trained at Apollo where I trained. That was the first time I actually realized how much work it takes to actually do this stuff. And I realized, like, seeing him do that, I was like, there is no chance I can ever do this. The guy would work construction 5 to 3, take a nap, come to the gym at 4. He'll train 4 to 6. I get to the gym at 6 to train. By the time I'm starting my training, he's shooting videos or he's with his team brainstorming. It's not like, oh, I feel like let me shoot a video today. I don't feel like it. You have to shoot every day because you're trying to go with the algorithm, the content. By the time I'm leaving the gym at 8, he's just shooting. He's starting to shoot some of his stuff and you're doing retakes and retakes and retakes because it doesn't go well. And dude, this is every day. Like, it's not like he's just doing it once a week. This was every day. Now he's sponsored by Gymshark. He has all these things, you know, he's like, he hit 1 million on TikTok, and then his Instagram too is pretty up there. But like, you see that and people just think, oh, he just goes and just acts this persona gym bro. It's like, no, this dude grinds 6 hours on a daily. He's doing a full-time job. So it's not easy as people think, man.
They never see the work that goes in. The truth is, most people could never handle it, right?
Yeah.
Me being Konevsky is one of my best friends, right? He won't even talk about the negative. I had him on a podcast and I want to get him to open up more. He has no interest in people feeling bad for him or any empathy. And honestly, he don't even like to talk about it. I think it makes him uncomfortable. I've seen when he was having to put everything on credit cards, when he had no liquid money whatsoever. He got fucked out of his YouTube channel, go from making good 6 figures to 0. Nothing, no income. And now you have to, how do you pay people? You can't, I've seen it, and you have to completely destroy your credit. And you have to scratch and claw your way. All the people who were your friends all of a sudden don't want to do videos with you anymore. I've seen it happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's not even the original come up that he was having but some of these videos take a full week to pull off. He's been to jail, bro. Literally locked up from doing videos. How many people are willing to go to jail? I'm not willing to go to jail for no video. You know, so the extent he went, and people just think it's so cool. He can't even be in a relationship. Like he's working all day. Like you think somebody's girlfriend wants to sit there while he works all day? No. So there's so many sacrifices that people don't even think of. And even after you make it, it's a lot harder than you think, right? I was on a podcast with Bradley Martin before, and we spoke about some things on the podcast, some things off the podcast. And you don't realize the amount of pressure and stress on this man's brain. He's responsible for other people's children. You know, these are his employees. If he decides to stop or drop the ball, these people can't feed their fucking families. You know what I'm saying? So on a bigger scale, yeah, it's different. He has people who edit his videos, but there's a bigger scale that if he doesn't perform, everybody loses, not just him. This next man that you consider a good friend can't feed his daughter because you dropped the fucking ball. Most people could never handle that shit, you know what I'm saying? But it all looks nice when he's in his, nice car driving, but you don't realize people, they don't even care about that shit. He don't even care about a nice car. He only has it because it's in his budget. But he's not looking at this car like this is so nice, right? He's just working, bro. And not even for his own survival. He's good for everybody else's survival. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot, bro. It's not. What he really wants to do is he wants to like his older brother lives in a van and travels. That's what he wants to do. But guess what? He can't do it because he has too many people that rely on him to survive. So
I feel like you can only do that too when you're rich enough, you know.
You got to reach a different level.
When everybody else is running shit for you, and you're just the cold guy.
Yeah, I think once he's trying to put people in positions where he doesn't have to. Like, you see how Fuad now he got like Sam or both Sam, like a Samson and Sam Sulek in a position where he doesn't have to be the face. You know, he's still being a face to a point, but when you get to that position where you're comfortable completely stepping back, that's when you can enjoy it. But that time, bro, when is that time going to come? You know, but I see Bradley, he's putting like that Sour Safari. He got her, he's trying to do it. So but it's hard. He's still the face to a point, but hopefully one day
talks about it. Oh, sorry. Right?
No, I was gonna say, hopefully one day he'll be able to drive off in the sunset and just enjoy what he worked so hard for. But who knows?
I was going to say, I think somebody so I'm going to have Jay watch this because it was one of those things that's like, I wanted to be more open-minded to it because I'm like, it's one of those, like, what you see on Instagram isn't real. Okay. It's like, it's a perception of the best life, but they don't see it. Like, it's just like bodybuilding, right? nobody had any idea that I looked the way I did at my first show. When they see that picture, like, what the fuck? I didn't always look this big. So it's just perception, right? What do I put out there? What do I want you to see? And I think somebody that does a really good job through YouTube, right, and explains everything and opens up is Christian Guzman with the Alpha League, because he shows the come up. He talks about it. He talks about the highs, the lows, the amount of time he puts in. And he's one, I think he is right now the most successful influencer as far as his line goes.
He's the father of gym influencing.
Yes,
this tripod thing started because of him.
Yeah.
But the come up, like, he didn't have, like, because her argument was, oh, well, these people have people like running shit for them. I've said, but you don't know what it took for that to even happen in the first place. Yeah. And like Beatty said, and even with them there is a huge level of responsibility now in that aspect to keep that side of it going now, to keep that running for them.
You know why I can't. I've tried hiring people to do it for me, but it's too costly. So what I have to do to get that money is a shit ton of work, right? Okay, you know how rich people be like, hey, having money is not everything. And then all the poor people say, that's not true. Try being poor. And they're like, I was poor most of my life. Now I'm rich. And I'm telling you, I've done both. And you have no idea that money is only important to you because you don't have it. Once you have it, you'll realize everything else, right? So same thing. I've done the 9 to 5s. I've done every shitty job you could think of. And I've also done, I don't know what you would call me, influencer or coach or whatever the case is. And this is harder. Mentally is harder. Obviously not physically. I'm not doing physical labor. But mentally is much harder. If I drop the ball, I don't pay my bills. I can't even live here if I drop the ball. When I have a check, the check is coming no matter what. I just have to show up. I'm going to get the check. I'll be able to pay my bills. If I drop the ball for the next month, I don't eat. There's no bodybuilding. There's no living here. I'm done. So I there's no room for error. I can't drop the ball. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different kind of hard, but it's different. You know, I didn't have to use my brain 24 hours a day back then. I just clock in, clock out. I didn't have to think about anything. Just get a check. You know, now, okay, but you make more money. Yeah, you also spend more money. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways. There's no easy way out in life. Nobody has it easy. There's not one person who has it easy. We still have to survive this world. So even if your parents is rich, I have friends who have rich parents. They have a different struggle, but it's still a struggle regardless, right? So nobody has an easy ticket in this world. It may look like it from our perspective sometimes. We all do it. We all look and be like, oh, that must be nice. But we have no idea the truth behind what they actually living through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just hard to relate because we haven't experienced what we haven't experienced. So I used to think that all the time, you know, but that must be nice. That must be nice. I don't realize. I've had people say it to me now. You know, I'm having a Hellcat. I'm like, whose car that? I was like, mine. He's like, oh, of course it will be yours. It must be nice. I'm like, wait, what? What the fuck does that mean? What is that? Yeah, you know, I'm like, no, I don't know. Well, explain it to me. You know, yeah. He was a trainer at Goals. I'm like, yeah, you didn't know that. 4 years ago, I was a trainer at fucking LA Fitness, making $12 an hour too. So what does that mean? Must be nice. You have no idea what the fuck I've done to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? You don't get it because you haven't done it yet. But it's all hard work. Everybody's working hard. You know
well, that whole that quote: "Success is hard and failure is hard. Choose your hard."
Exactly.
Either one. Both of them suck, but you got to choose one of them.
Exactly. My client was competing yesterday. He's in New York. So I was up to 6 a.m. Not that I sleep early anyways. But
you're going to bed soon.
That's a regular schedule.
Yeah, but he's paying me good money. You think I could just be like, oh, I'm up. Oh, hey, how did the show go, bro? Motherfucker, like I don't know. I went flat. You didn't hit me up. I can't do that. I have to be responsive. And yes, am I able to make my own hours and shit? That's great. But it comes at a cost, bro. There's pros and cons to everything. You know, I much rather this lifestyle over 9 to 5. That's why I chose it. It works for me. My sister works a 9 to 5. She owns several homes. She makes a great living. She's doing better than me. So we can't now. I think nowadays it's cool to be like, I want my own business, and 9 to 5s are boring now. But don't get it twisted. 9 to 5s are great as well. You know what I'm saying? It just what works for you, what works for your brain, your lifestyle. I just can't do a 9 to 5. I'm a little fucked up, so it just this works for me. Not easier, but it works for me.
What's funny is I people ask me about if I regret leaving my job for the bodybuilding thing, and we talk about choosing your heart, right?
Mhm.
Like the job itself, I was more financially stable. I was able to afford more things, be more consistent, not really worry about the dollar.
Mhm.
When I left, I was way happier. I got better at bodybuilding. I
Boom,
got
simple,
way more known, but
simple as that.
financially, it's way more rough. But do I
Mhm.
sleep better at night now? You bet your sweet ass I sleep better at night, and I'm
100%.
happier. So, are they both difficult? Yeah. Do they both come with their pros and cons? Yeah. But which one brings you happiness? And that's all that fucking matters.
Boom. You hit the nail on the fucking coffin, bro. Simple as that. You can say the same shit for relationships, right? It's like, I don't know about this. I'm like, bro, you need this girl. Don't ever leave that girl. You're assuming it's gonna be easier with somebody else. It's gonna be just as hard, but she's actually worth it. That's the difference. So it's still difficult, but it's worth it. Whereas you think somebody else is gonna, she's gonna be difficult as well, but it might not be worth it, right? So same thing. This makes you happy. They're both hard, but this makes you happier. Always choose that one. You know what I'm saying? So this
That
is
was a good
not.
analogy.
Yeah, I've had points in my life where I made more money than this, but was I happier? Nope. I wasn't happier with the choices I was making. I wasn't happy with things I was doing, and I wasn't happy at the end of the day. So I'm much happier now. All right, let's.
It's cool, bro. I'm watching. I watched Ken with his animal trip and shit, and you can see the genuine smile on his face.
Oh
And
yeah,
one day, Ken, you'll be able to walk away from your IT job, and this will be your 100% thing. And it's going to be hard, bro. And there's going to be stresses behind it, but you're going to be so fucking glad you left the other one. And I mean, there's pros to it. It's not like you hate your job, but fuck, you're following a dream, and ain't nothing more satisfying than doing that, bro.
Yeah.
yeah, man. Ken is Nigerian though. He gonna keep that job. he got to have a cover
That
when his
was
family
fucking great.
when his family start pressuring him. Hey, what happened? You gonna leave your job? They gonna have a meeting. Minton, he ain't leaving
Yo,
that job.
Beatty, you need to start getting high before this podcast.
Yeah.
The deeper prep you get.
I know. I look at it like this. I look at it like this, though. Bodybuilding, as a successful bodybuilder, you can do way more long term than having a 9 to 5. And what I mean by that is your name, right?
Mhm.
Like a guy like Lee Priest is still making money off of his name till today because
He never worked a job, right? That's what he
never
said.
worked a day in his life, right? So I hope at some point, if God willing, I'm fortunate enough to be good enough as a bodybuilder to do that, then I know that I can make a successful future for myself, But for now, I got to keep that job, man. I got to keep that
Yeah.
job.
Oh, of course.
But Beatty, you were on my profile. I wanted to highlight something there real quick too, because of something we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
I'm doing a guest posing in August. It's under tagged, if you want to put it there, for the New Jersey State. And to me, it's so wild. It's so wild that right there. Yep. It's so wild to me that I'm doing a guest posing with Akeem.
Oh, that's fucking fire. That's dope.
That's fucking sick as fuck, bro.
I didn't think about that. That's fire.
Yeah, it's like we watched Akeem, on the East Coast, and here I am doing a guest posing with him in the next couple of months. And it's like you guys were saying, like things just full circle, how things are coming around. I still don't see myself as that up and coming bodybuilder, but it's like, wow, you guys want me to guest pose? Like
That's fucking fire.
There's someone else, so it's cool. And listen, I told you, Joe, I said this to you, your comments. You guys don't see it, but we're all slowly just coming up, coming into our own as bodybuilders. And
100%.
man, I'm telling you, 2 to 3 years from now, we're going to look back at this period and we're going to say, wow, do you guys remember when, we were still in the trenches, during that period of time. So it's so awesome. It's so awesome to see.
You know what's crazy? Like, not just because you guys are my friends, but honestly, just being like completely objective. Yo, bro, we all gonna reach our goals. I could see it. It's so clear. I just see the mindset, the way people like y'all potential, the discipline, the work ethic. Every single one of us is gonna make it. You know, as far as we willing to go, and I just know it. You know, shit. When me and Joe and Paul first started talking about the podcast, think about it. You guys weren't even pro. like, think about it. You know, and then look how much it's changed from then. Just from us just living our passions. From then and now, and that was what, a fucking year ago, if that, because you were saying, you know, less than a year ago. So imagine, like Ken said, 2-3 years, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy how life works, you know. Well,
You know,
me personally,
go ahead. Sorry.
to close out this one, that's dope that you get posed in with Akeem, but I'm more excited. I'll be more excited to pose with Laura Lee Chapato. That's just me. I'm trying to get posed with her.
That was someone on his search history he didn't want us to see.
So definitely, you gotta talk to the promoters next year. Got to be me, Laura Lee, and Ken. Akeem is cool too.
What Ken and Beatty were saying, right? The feedback that I gave everybody, like, hey Joe, like, what do you need for the next show? What do you need for the next show? I said, all I need is time. That's it.
Boom.
Give me time.
Simple as that. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying?
Because eventually, like you said, no matter what, like I said, there's two roads you choose, right? Failure and success. Well, I'm not choosing failure. I'm going to succeed.
Well, you can literally only fail in life if you quit. That's the only failure. There's no other way to fail. Like you love something and you keep working, it happens, period. It's going to happen. You know, it only doesn't happen because you chose to stop or not work hard enough. That's it. There's no other way to lose, you know. It's funny because sometimes I've had people ask me, oh, I want to be a trainer. How do I make money in training? I'm like, you're looking at it wrong. Become a good trainer. That's how you make money in fucking training. How does Compton make money in coaching? Did he figure out some formula of how to do some crazy scheme? No, he just became a fucking good coach. It's not that complicated. You actually love it, you're passionate about it, it's going to happen. All Compton had to do was just coach people. And eventually he'll get better and better at it because he loves it and he actually lives it, and it happens. You know, Joe didn't have to do something fancy to turn pro. He didn't have to hire Hani and take 30 hours to grow hormone. He just loved it, passionate about it, did it, and it happens. Period. It's that fucking simple. You know, whether it was 1 try or 10 tries, it was going to happen. You know, same thing for now. He's a pro. Okay, it didn't happen this time. Now he continues doing what he's doing. It's going to happen. He's going to win a pro show. It will happen. It's not a maybe. It's not an if. It's a win because he loves it. He does the work, and it just fucking happens. You know.
One thing I really want to see, and not just because we're cool and shit now, but someone that I heavily looked up to and still do was Nick, because Nick was that person. And he was so confident in getting where he wanted to be because of exactly what you're saying. He knew that he was going to do day in and day out what he needed to get to exactly where he said he's going to end up being. And all he needed is time. So would it surprise me if Nick won the Olympia? Not even a little bit.
No.
Because you tell him what he needs to do, give him some time, and he will fucking do it because that's what he's going to do.
You know what? Let's all do something today. I'm gonna go back, pull up my first interview with Nick and send it to y'all. That was before he turned pro. Let's all listen to it and just think, because from what I remember, everything that he fucking said was gonna happen, everybody said this guy is delusional. And guess what? It happened in that fucking order, literally in the exact order he said it was gonna happen. It happened like clockwork. How is he a psychic? No, he knows what amount of work he's capable of doing, and he knew that he wasn't going to stop until it fucking happened. You know what I'm saying? So let's go all listen. That's going to be our homework. We're going to all go listen to the podcast, and we're probably going to be mind blown. Like, I can't believe he said that, and I can't believe he did that, but he fucking did it, you know? And he's the same person, which is great. My hosting skills are probably horrible, because that was years ago, but so forgive me.
But look at that. You kept fucking doing it, and look at you now.
Good point. Yeah. And granted, I wasn't consistent The podcast would have been bigger if I was, but guess what? It's okay. I didn't quit. And that's all that fucking matters. I can say the same thing about bodybuilding. Early on, I wasn't fucking consistent. In my own brain, I thought I was do bodybuilding. I wasn't no fucking bodybuilder. I was a part-time bodybuilder. But now I'm all in, and it's gonna show come July. You know what I'm saying? Believe that. So you just have to, you got to get it done, bro. It's gonna be hard, but get it done. If you stop, you fail. If you keep going, you succeed. And I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love how we didn't get to one fucking question. That was the best.
You know what? I've been paying attention. The least questions we answer, the better the podcast. Because if we get to the questions early, that means we didn't have anything to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
That's 100% why I said that. 100%.
That's true.
I gotta smoke more weed before these podcasts.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. I didn't know Ken was coming on. I thought you were gonna be wrapped up with all that other stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Dude, Sundays, listen, this podcast too, for me, I put as priority. You know, Sunday slot, because I can't make it on Wednesday. And like you guys said, you know, we're all friends. So I really look forward to this. I don't get a chance to talk with amongst other guys in this space, bodybuilding, like we have here. So for me, this is an outlet. And I try to make sure I make it on Sundays because that's the only time I have. And you know how it is. You miss one Sunday, it's like 2 weeks later, and it's like, Jesus, you know.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I feel like I haven't seen Ken in weeks, and he only missed one episode, right? And it wasn't even his fault. It was a different day, you know. But that I want to thank you guys for always showing up because that's another thing I noticed. Like all the other hosts, the hardest part is trying to keep the cast together because shit happens. It's life, and I get that. And I always tell you guys if you can't show up, no problem. But you guys always go out of your way to show up, which is the only reason this works, right? Because if not, it doesn't work. Okay, we only get guests because people like our podcast. If people didn't like our podcast because we wouldn't have none of these guests. So, you know, so the core guys is why I'm able to get people. You think somebody can want to show up? If it was a shit podcast, they would just leave my ass on red. Let's be real. And let's be completely honest. So they only fuck with this podcast because of you guys at the end of the day. So you guys were consistent.
Well, they like you too, baby. You seem to be like everyone's friend, and everyone likes you, dude. That's fine.
Yeah,
thank you.
Says a lot about you, bro.
I appreciate that. I don't know why, because I'm just myself. I don't think that I'm that nice of a guy, but I'm glad everybody thinks I'm a nice
both
guy.
you and Zayd did a collab post about me. You have no idea what that meant to me, bro. Like, no idea.
Yeah.
That was the best feeling in the fucking world to see. Like, I can't wait to do it for you guys. It's fucking. That's why I'm on here.
We genuinely believe in you, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, and my circle's small, man, because I'm always a believer in quality over quantity. Just like we're talking about fucking weight training, bro. Quality over quantity, you know, and it's just like it's hard to find. So you said about having a good girl, fucking keep them, man. They're very hard to come by.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? I felt like there was a while I was like, why do people actually like the podcast? And then I realized it's the same reason why I like y'all. Y'all literally are just yourselves. That's it. But there's a reason why we're friends. It didn't happen by accident. It happened because we're like-minded in that way. There's no fakeness. There's no clout chasing. And I think everybody respects that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you're not trying to be good people. You just are who you are, which is the big difference, right? Anybody could be nice. Anybody could pretend. Anybody. You guys are literally, I never want y'all to change. I want y'all to be exactly who you are. Even if it's the bad side, even if you're irritable, even like let's say Stu in prep, he gets really like blunt, but I love it. I don't want him to act different. I don't feel like he has to like hold himself back. Yo, was that too much? Nope. Perfect.
Bro, honestly, one thing that's beautiful about bodybuilding is, again, if you do it for the right reasons, I truly feel like you discover who you are and then you hold on to that shit. Mm-hmm. Like you really figure out who the fuck you are as a person. So I think that's what brings the bodybuilding community together. If the reason for doing it is the right reason.
Exactly. You know, literally be yourself. And if you're a decent human being, it comes across and everybody sees it. And every one of us are completely different people. But it makes no difference. We get along because we respect each other. And I wouldn't bring anybody on a podcast who I didn't have some respect for anyways. So That's the important part.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So,
That's
all right,
right.
gentlemen. I feel like that was like a kind of a deep one, low key.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a good one though.
It
That was
was
a good
Yes.
one.
it was good
Definitely.
though. It was good.
Brett Wilkin, get your ass on here.
Yeah, we gotta.
Brett, send us train with Brett, man. I'll take the offer.
Oh, it's gonna be fire. Now we're gonna have two Bretts on. We're gonna have Apex Brett, and we already got we got like 5 Justins, including
Yeah.
Justin Hutchinson. That's his new name. And then
Justin, bro, oh my god.
Yo, Branch, it was a fucking gasp event, and Branch was like Justin, and you're like, it's Jordan. But I'm like, yo, it's over. You just Justin. That's it. Everybody just call him Justin. Go spam his page, Justin. That's his new name. So,
Justin.
it sounds good. I don't know, but we had Jacoby on. We have a new Justin. We have Jacoby now.
Jacoby,
Oh,
Yeah.
keep it going. You got Justin.
You've had Justin, Jacoby, Justin Wyatt, Justin Compton, fucking Justin Hutchinson.
we gotta get one more. I want to get one more Justin. Who's the Justin we can find now? We gotta get one more Justin. Oh, we had Shia.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yo, holy, yo, you know what?
Complete.
I'm gonna go out of my way to get an episode with 6 Justins on it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm gonna have all Justins.
And then the fucking title is "This Just In."
That's smart.
We gotta do that one day. We're gonna have just all Justins. Whatever Justin, just show. If your name is Justin, I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna go through and search in Justin and send you a fucking link just to get you on the podcast.
That's
Yeah.
fucking great, bro.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, boys.
Have a good one, you guys.
Have a good one.
That was a
Peace.
good one.
week.
Lay off that kratom, Joe.
Actually, didn't take Kratom today. Later.
Yeah.
Bye.